morning, everyone. The June 21st, 2023 meeting of the City Council is called to order. And on a very special day, yay champions of the Stanley Cup. What a wonderful way to begin a day. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2. You may also watch this meeting live on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and the Go Vegas app. The City Council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast KCLV Channel 2 and the web of Wednesday, the meeting 8 p.m., also Friday 4 a.m., Saturday 7 p.m., Sunday 7 a.m., the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler systems. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exit at the back of the chambers. Go out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, get down the back staircase. For anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or fire official for assistance. And once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Streets. Employees wearing safety vests or city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to items on the agenda, citizen participation in public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you may complete and submit to our city clerk up front. Cards are available in the clerk's office or at the rear of the chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizens' participation, or specified public hearing items. If anyone's present today who has need for hearing impaired equipment, please come forward and see our city clerk staff. And note, if you parked in the parking garage across the street, a self-validation machine is located in the foyer between council chambers and the security desk you walk through to enter our chambers. You must have your ticket with you to use the machine. However, if you do not, please see security personnel when exiting for a validation coupon. And before we begin our agenda this morning, would everyone please rise for the invocation given by Pastor Benny Hawkes, Victory Outreach, Las Vegas, and please remain standing for the pledge. And good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for my little tag. I feel official now. If I could have every head bowed and every eye closed, please. Heavenly Father, we first of all thank you for this beautiful day, Lord, and I thank you, God, for Mayor Carolyn, God, and her cabinet, and I just pray a special blessing upon them, Lord, and I just lift up to you, God, this day, my God, and I pray, Lord, that you would give everyone, Lord, wisdom, discernment, my God, and I pray for their families as well, my God, and I just pray that you would just take hold, my God, of this entire day, Lord God, that all the sessions, Lord God, that there will be no complications, God, but everything, God, will go according to order, my God, for you're not a God of confusion, but you're a God of order, Lord, and I just pray, God, right now, a special blessing upon this day, God, and upon Mayor Carolyn, God, and all her cabinet, Lord. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. course, they got rain and stuff. He keeps us straight and narrow. I was just asking about our city attorney, who always sits right there. And I could look at the expression on his face, and it means you're in trouble, that's wrong, or this is right. Anyway, good morning, everybody. We're all here. How lovely. We just had our pictures taken. I won't say for what, but it was amazing. What a great team we have here. And we can sing and dance too. Okay, this is our ceremonial portion of our council agenda. And for our first item, I'd like to invite Department of Public Safety Deputy Chief Robert Straube to join us at the podium, wherever you are. Yay! Good morning, Deputy Chief. How are you? We feed him very well here. Our employees strive to meet our values of being kind, committed, and smart, and they work to build our community to make life better, as you all know. I'm proud to announce that the Employee of the Month is Michael Whalen. Michael, come on down. Where are you? Bravo. We are so lucky. The marshals are the most fabulous. Michael is a corrections officer and has been with the city since 2001. Michael is also the jail safety officer and has this responsibility for everyone, including, of course, our inmates, our staff, our contract workers, and our volunteers. What is grand is that he has, among other things, implemented 2 training programs that embody the department's mantra of helping inmates leave the facility and their incarceration much better than when they arrived. The first program that he initiated is the SERVE program that offers basic food safety knowledge and training certification for food handler jobs. Through this program, Michael has helped 72 inmates gain these valuable skills for possible work opportunities after they leave. The second program he initiated helps inmates towards earning custodial work certification, and a total of 49 inmates have completed this program and earned custodial technical certificates also to align them for job opportunities upon release. We want to thank Michael for his efforts to help those in need in our community so they have a brighter future when released from the city's detention center. Michael, thank you for all that you do to serve our community. And before we hear from you, of course, I want to hear from Deputy Chief Straube. So please.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's a personal honor for me, having worked with Michael for almost 20-plus years. A lot of times, we have our 3 main pillars in our DPS. We have our animal protection services, we have our marshals, we have our corrections officers. Our corrections officers are not front-facing, so the work they do behind the scenes doesn't always get recognized. So I'm really happy today that we are here to recognize someone like Officer Wyan, who has gone above and beyond in his duties at the jail. So one of the things we talk about, right, is building community to make life better at the city. He's done that behind the scenes, and I'm telling you, this is not a thing he's done the last month. He's done this his whole career. So I'm very honored to stand up here and see him be recognized for the work he does. On the right over here, he talked about all the great things he's going to continue to do and all the new ideas. And as a leader, all you can do is support your employees, give them a blank canvas to write on. That's exactly what he's done. So again, really, really proud of everything you've done within the detention center. We only get to touch their lives for a very short period of time in our jail because we're a misdemeanor facility, anywhere from 3 days to almost a couple weeks. So what he's done to find programs that work and have some of the success stories that we've had is absolutely amazing. It's inspiring. So thank you for inspiring all of us, and continue the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautifully said. And of course, Michael, we have, first of all, your name, of course, as you know, will be up at Main and what's left of Clark, because we closed it down for our construction. But of course, the wonderful Employee of the Month certificate in glass and beautiful. And we'd love to hear from you. But the beauty is that what you've been doing is helping so many have a future ahead and new skills. And we thank you for everything. I can't believe 22 years. Isn't that amazing? Devotion. Please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a few words. So it's a privilege and honor to be nominated and awarded as Employee of the Month for the City of Las Vegas. I want to first express my gratitude to First God, who has directed me into this profession for such a time as this. He's shown me how to love others and treat them how I want to be treated. It's a good lesson for everyone this day and age. I want to thank my wife, who always is there and listens to my crazy ideas and wild ideas about improving our health and safety of the department. I want to thank everyone involved in seeing the vision that I have to bring the health and safety position at DPS to the next level. For Chief Potts, Assistant Chief Straube, and all the command staff that supported me in my many visions that I have for improvement in the health and safety division. During my almost 23 years of service in the department, I've always tried to add value to the department and to the city and live up to the values kind, committed, and smart. Law enforcement, as you know, the profession is usually labeled as people that don't care. I have to say, working for the City of Las Vegas and the Department of Public Safety, that's way beyond reality. That's far from the reality of what it is. We really do care about our clients, people that we have in custody. What makes me effective, part of the organization, and continually adding value is my drive and passion for what I do. I also have compassion for others and truly care about staff, visitors, and those that we have in custody. We still have many new systems to add, such as the aromatherapy program, continue to forge partnerships with the community outreach programs and employers to give second chances to those getting released. In addition to continual training of the staff and workers and the inmate workers in order to raise the bar on safety and sanitation inside the jail system. I'm not done yet.
Beautiful. Is your wife here?
No, she's not.
We'd love to have her here. Let's step in front if we can here, and let me have you hold this if you would. We have the best marshals and our public safety, all of it, fire, rescue, first responder, the best in the country, let me tell you. Every single one of them. They're so caring, so deeply involved, and I think, Marshal, you have just done this and shown us, and Deputy Chief Straube every day. Thank you, and to all your details, thank you. Okay, now something exceptional as well. Aren't you the lucky one? Our wonderful Ward 6 Councilwoman, Miss Bruni. Here you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. For our ceremonial recognition today, we are celebrating an organization who's had a significant impact in Nevada for over 30 years. Boys Town, Nevada is a nonprofit organization that's been operating in Las Vegas since 1991, although the Boys Town of that day is not the Boys Town, Nevada that you see today. Their scope and programs have changed over time to address the growing and changing needs of our community, but their fundamental mission remains that of minimizing disruption in the home, supporting the reunification of families, and helping build stronger and healthier families. Boys Town, Nevada does this by providing family-based services and skill-building classes for parents so that they can create and maintain a safe, stable environment for their children and loved ones. They also provide an array of life-changing youth care and health care services, including behavioral health services, and training for parents, educators, and students. They also support juvenile justice reform. Boys Town, Nevada works directly with at-risk youth in schools to help curb behavioral issues and in homes. Their Lift Together program is a partnership among students, schools, educators, parents, and the community with programming designed to improve student learning and test scores while reducing classroom disruptions and office referrals. Next year, they will expand from working in 67 schools in Clark County School District to over 90 schools. They are playing a role keeping our students and our teachers and our schools safe. As the executive director, John Etzel, stated recently, the goal of Boys Town, Nevada is to be able to teach our students the right social skills to be more successful in the future in the classrooms. So they are getting along with teachers better and other students better, creating less of a challenge in our school district. Boys Town, Nevada currently serves over 6,000 students, which is an increase from 2,000 just a couple of years ago. Collectively, they are impacting more than 50,000 families and children every year. And I want to take a quick minute to show a very short video before we conclude.
Hi Southern Nevada, my name is John Etzel, Executive Director with Boys Town, Nevada. Thrilled to be one of the fastest growing nonprofits in town, last year serving nearly 55,000 kids and families in a variety of services. We focus on education, behavioral health, wraparound services, and mental health. We love being here in the Valley, serving the kids and families, and we look forward to the opportunity to continue to grow. We've got numerous contracts and a lot of open positions coming up. We'd love for you to be a part of that next process.
So before I invite the executive director, John Etzel, who's been there 4.5 years up, I wanted to share the experience of one parent who was helped by Boys Town, Nevada, and said that Boys Town helped her learn how to be a successful parent, giving her the support and advice she needed during situations she didn't know how to handle. She stated, "They actually gave me support that I didn't have anywhere else. It almost felt like having my own parents back. Because of the attention they gave me in such a loving way, I was able to learn to love myself. Through this, I learned that if you make mistakes, you can always get back up. There's never a time when you can't get back up." Thank you, Boys Town, Nevada Executive Director John Etzel, and your board, and your team members. And we have team members from our from the school-based services, and from wraparound support services here to celebrate you today. Thank you for helping make our families stronger and healthier, because we know that strong families make for a healthy, vibrant community. Thank you for your vision in stepping up. Boys Town, Nevada has grown tremendously since you arrived, and you've been so collaborative working with CCSD and the Collaboration Center. And thank you, Linda Teishi, for coming to celebrate Boys Town, Nevada. With that.
Well, thank you very much. That certainly shows a lot and demonstrates a lot of the impact that Boys Town has had on the Valley over the last 32 years, none of which happens without a tremendous staff. So I'd love a round of applause for all of our team who are here today. To be able to go from an organization where most folks, recall Boys Town as a residential placement with the 5 homes we had up in the northwest part of town, and operated those for a long, long time. In 2017, that program actually ended, and we really turned our focus to early intervention and prevention-based work to hopefully stop or curtail some of those activities from happening before they got worse. And so the work that we're doing in schools, the work that we're doing with our behavioral health team, now with 4 full-time child psychologists, as well as interns and postdocs from UNLV, and that partnership is continuing to grow. Our work in CCSD, starting with a handful of schools back in 2015, and now to 90-plus schools heading into the 23-24 academic year. It is a tremendous opportunity to continue to work, serve, and hopefully impact the way that kids are getting along with others, whether that's their peers or the adults that they're living with, or in school as well. It is a tremendous responsibility that we all take very, very seriously, and are appreciative for the opportunity to continue to have that impact. So thank you for the opportunity to be recognized here today. We very much appreciate it.
And where did they And where can people who are watching send contributions? What's your website, please? And how about volunteers? What would you like to say?
They need a lot of team members for the schools.
Hiring.
Yes, hiring, yes, as well. So, yes, to address the first question, boystown.org/Nevada. Right there on the homepage, there are the Donate Now buttons, as most nonprofits have. We're certainly appreciative from the support that we get from the Valley in those ways as well, that it allows us to continue to grow and expand our, programs. Jobs, yes, we have job openings. Both Dana Roseman on the school-based side of things. That's where we've got the most openings right now. So folks who are looking for, school-based hours and opportunities. We've got about 20 more positions yet to fill before we head back to school here in August. We're at over 125 employees right now. And that is a big growth from when I started in 2019, where we were about 37. So the organization continues to get bigger. Yes, volunteers. We do like volunteers, Mayor, of course. Through our website, we can certainly sign up to be a volunteer as well, helping out at a variety of activities and events that we've got going on. So.
And how about if a youngster's how about if a youngster's watching, because everybody's out of school, and they'd like to talk to somebody? What do they do?
Yes, they can also go to our website. They can go to any of our social media pages, and I will pull it up on my phone right now. Boys Town, as a national organization, has got a hotline that is available 24/7 for kids, families, parents, concerned grandparents, in particular around mental health. And it is not just a call center factory. These are licensed clinicians who, nationally on an annual basis, we interrupt over 500 suicides that are in progress. And that is, an amazing opportunity. So if folks want to call that number or put it into their phones right now, our Boys Town National Hotline is 1-800-448-3000. Again, 1-800-448-3000. And you can also text the number as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Congratulations, and thank you and your entire team for all that you do. I'm so delighted Councilwoman Bruni has reached out to really acknowledge what you do and do it so graciously, because each one of you change a life, and everyone you save. So important, and hope and love and everything. So we're proud, and we want to have a picture.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I forgot. Thank you, Councilman Creer. I'm still new to this. We have a plaque for Boys Town, Nevada, and we also have a proclamation, but I won't bother reading it. You can read it to the team, and we have some flowers too.
Oh, thank you. Very, very nice.
In the front.
Right there in the middle. Who wants all the flowers?
You should be in the front, Councilwoman. I'm not important. What do you mean? You need to be in the picture. You do work well, because I can. My time, yeah. Oh, there.
Well, how about I get right next to Councilwoman Bruni, because she's smaller and I'm taller, and you're my height. We're 5'9". Good.
Thank you for all of the.
Okay, here we are, and we are on agenda. Item number 7, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium, state your name for the record. It's your opportunity to address our council, but council's not able to respond or engage in dialogue. We'll set the time at 1 minute, and of course, you'll have another opportunity at the end of council or during public hearing items. So please do come forward and state your name for the record, and you can choose any microphone. The little red light should come on. There, you're alive.
Is this one on?
Yes, please.
Hello. Thank you, council members. Thank you for all the work you all do. My name is Tamika Shanti, and I'm the policy strategist for the ACLU of Nevada. I'm here this morning to express concern about the appointment of your recent city manager. As you know, the ACLU Nevada is very, very much into Nevada open meeting law and government transparency. At your meeting on June 7th, we saw some different options you were given on how this council could go about recruiting and or appointing a new city manager. Several members of this council expressed concern about hiring firm and the expenses associated with that. Further, you completely avoided any of the other options and decided instead to make an appointment. We are definitely into the process of everything. Not that there's anything wrong with Mr. Jansen, however, your transparency and the way that you go about appointments needs to be open and follow the certain rules of law. Our organization will be watching this council and all of your actions further. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Appreciate it. Anyone else, please? Come forward, state your name for the record. Okay, hearing and seeing no one, we will move on to agenda item 8. Business items, possible action, any items from the 9:30 session that the council staff and/or applicant wish to be stricken, table, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem? I have no items. No items. Okay. We'll move on to agenda item 9. For possible action to approve the final minutes by reference to the May 17th, 2023 regular city council and special joint city council and redevelopment agency budget meetings. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion to approve these minutes, please?
Madam Mayor, move to approve item number 9.
Thank you. There's a motion on agenda item 9, and please orally, nope, it's working. I'm not a believer. Okay, oral.
Aye.
Aye. We had 2 circles out of 7, not good. Okay, majority rules, and it said aye, so thank you very much. That carries. We'll move on to agenda item 10. 10 through 39 on the consent agenda considered to be routine, recommended for approval by the departments, and may be enacted in one motion. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion for the consent agenda, items 10 through 39, please?
Madam Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda items 10 through 39.
Thank you. There's motion to approve 10 through 39. Would you please vote? There it is. And please post. Look at that. Hey, miracles do happen. It's the solstice. It's the beginning of summer. So that's why. All right, agenda item 40. Okay, we're on agenda item 40, which is administrative. Discussion for possible action regarding the approval of the employment contract with Michael Jansen and ratification as city manager, $285,000 plus benefits, general fund, all wards. And good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Mayor. For the record, good morning, Mayor and Council. For the record, Vince Zamora, Human Resources Director. I'm very pleased to introduce item number 40, which is a discussion item for possible action regarding the approval of the employment contract with Michael Jansen and ratification as City Manager, whom you selected at the June 7, 2023 City Council meeting. For some background information, Mike Jansen, originally from Queens, New York, began his career...
Wait, you have to slow that. I want to hear
Okay.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Queens, New York, everybody. We have a lot of people from Brooklyn, Bronx, and Queens. So it didn't all happen. He's not native born here. So please, if you would, very slowly, his blood color.
Originally from Queens, New York, Mike began his career in government with the City of New York over 29 years ago. He joined the City of Las Vegas in 1997 as an engineering associate and has risen through the ranks, holding various leadership positions in public works, including engineering project manager, assistant city traffic engineer, transportation manager, and public works director. In November 2020, he was promoted to the Executive Director of Infrastructure, where he oversaw a staff of 550 responsible for planning, designing, construction, operating, and maintenance of all the city's public infrastructure. Mike received his undergraduate degree from the Rochester Institute of Technology in Civil Engineering Technology, and he has a Master's of Public Administration from UNLV. He has been a licensed professional civil engineer since 1999 and a certified professional traffic operations engineer since 2004.
Thank you very much. And so, comments, questions? Because I think with permission of the council, I'm going to ask Councilwoman Pawlenty to go ahead and make the motion on this since you moved in the first.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to approve item 40. Let's do it.
Thank you very much. It's a motion to approve the employment contract with Mike Jansen, ratification as city manager, $285,000 plus benefits from the general fund, and reference to all wards. Please vote and please post.
Fantastic.
Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. And at this point, I think it would be appropriate to have the swearing in, if you're ready. Are you ready to be sworn in?
Yes, Mayor, I just wanted to make a quick note. I had some family here today. My wife Michelle's here and my sister Kathleen. If it was acceptable, I would love to have them join me for the
Yes,
swearing in.
please do.
Thank you.
Test.
Test. Okay. I, Mike Jansen, solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and government
and the Constitution and government
of the State of Nevada
of the State of Nevada
against all enemies,
whether domestic or foreign,
that I will bear true faith,
that I will bear true faith,
allegiance,
allegiance,
and loyalty to the same.
and loyalty to the same.
In the ordinance resolution
In the ordinance resolution
or law of any state convention
or law of any state convention
or legislature,
or legislature,
to the contrary notwithstanding,
to the contrary notwithstanding,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
all the duties of the position
all the duties of the position
in which I'm about to enter.
in which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you.
You have you sign.
For everybody who can't see, he's a southpaw from Queens. Congratulations. And thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, please, and comments. Wait. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Mayor Goodman, members of City Council, I just want to thank you for this opportunity today to be your next city manager. A few weeks ago, I mentioned to you how a lot of my success at the city was because of mentors. What I also wanted to add to that conversation is a lot of my success has been, I've had great staff. Great staff is what makes us successful, and certainly that's a large part of my story. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how important family has been. My mom and dad are watching today from home. My dad's not as mobile as he used to be, but he's cheering me on from his home in Sun City. And as I mentioned, my wife and sister are here. And I have to just tell you, in 1992, I came to Las Vegas as an intern. And it was my sister who was here who encouraged me to come out with an offer for free room and board at her apartment. And so to leave upstate New York from a cold, windy, and icy Rochester, New York, to come out here for a few months was an offer I certainly couldn't refuse. But I saw then what I see now, and that is Southern Nevada and Las Vegas is just such a great town for opportunity. And it's been a great opportunity for me. So I just look forward to continuing to work with you all and our staff and our community and continuing to just make this town a great town. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. And Mom and Dad, congratulations. It's always wonderful to see family move forward and achieve dreams that they maybe never thought of before. So congratulations and thank you. I'm sure he didn't leave far from your home because of the food and all the amenities that you offered him. So we're very fortunate, and thank you both. So we will move on now to agenda item 41, discussion for possible action regarding an agreement of purchase and sale and joint escrow instructions between the City of Las Vegas City and Sienna 12 Holding Limited Partnership seller for the property located 201 East Utah Avenue at 1405 South Casino Boulevard, not to exceed $5,025,000 Parking Enterprise Fund. This is in Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz. And good morning.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of council. Ryan Smith, Director, of Economic and Urban Development for the record. I'm excited to bring forward this purchase and sale agreement for 201 East Utah in front of you today. Before I go over the project, I do want to thank a few different people. Julie Quisenberry from my office, Maria Tomeo Soto from the Parking Division, Tracy Reich, also from EUD, the whole entire legal team, as well as Mr. Mitch Ogron, representing Sienna Holdings. As you can see, I believe, from the map in front of you, the parcel is located on the corner of Utah and South Casino Center. If you recall, we did bring a different purchase and sale agreement to the property just to the north on Imperial, but could not come to terms with the middle property owner, which was very important in completing that deal. The total property highlighted in pink on your screen is the subject property, and it's approximately 1.13 acres. EUD staff negotiated a purchase price of $5 million, or roughly $101 a foot, which is very in line with recent comps in the direct area surrounding that parcel. We're hoping on a 60-day close. We then go into a design-build contract with Public Works. We anticipate the garage will have around 500 spaces and be a total of 10 to 15,000, and have a total of 10 to 15,000 square feet of retail space. We do have allotted parking demand in the area. We currently have a 200 applicant wait list for new parking spaces in the garage, and over 400 monthly parkers currently in the Arts District just south of Charleston. We anticipate generating around $1.3 million of revenue within the first year and stabilizing around $2 million by year 10. And so with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Could you tell us, first of all, where is the entry going to be off of, or are there multiple entries and the exits on the other side when you look at the property?
So we're still figuring all that out. We have to go, our next step is to go into the design build, and so they'll then get the real specs of the ingress, egress of where parkers will go in, where the retail and all that will sit.
And is it the maximum height before you go into other issues now? 5 floors or stories?
Yes, we're still trying to anticipate exactly how many stories this will be, but we anticipate around 4 to 5.
Mayor Jorge Cervantes for the record, City Manager. So, because it's a concrete structure, it's irrelevant. So, which structure that has a limit of heights, but being a concrete structure, then it shouldn't matter.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions from council? Okay, yay for parking, please, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know that everyone wants it today, but we're working as diligently as possible to get some parking relief for the area that has become such an amazing space and place. And speaking of the Golden Knights winning, I don't know how many of you have caught wind that there's already a mural being worked on celebrating that we are the champions of Las Vegas downtown. So come on by the Arts District on Main Street and you're going to see the Stanley Cup being held up there. Mr. Smith, I wanted for you to kind of highlight the acquisition right now. Can you point to the rendering, the entirety of what we're buying for the purpose of the parking garage?
Yeah, I'll walk over and point to it right now. I know it's a little blurred on the screen. It is surrounded in pink.
Okay.
Just right there.
All right.
2 different parcels.
Awesome. And I just know that we have been trying to pursue awesome options, and the other options we had kind of didn't pan out, so we just want to make sure that we're walking on firm ground to then move forward with the remaining just building of this parking garage. So without further ado, I'm going to move to approve agenda item 41.
Okay, there's a motion. Please, there we go. Please vote and please post. Yay, yay, yay is all I can say. Speed forward as fast as we can.
Would you like to do an oral?
And the motion carries unanimously. What is the timeline realistically?
We're shooting for the end of, or the Q4 of 2025.
Okay.
So the end of 2025.
Wonderful. Excellent, thank you. Okay, we'll move on now to 43 items. 43 and 40.
42, Your Honor. Mayor, item 42.
Did I skip? Oh, thank you. I'm just so thrilled you watch what I do. I sure try to squeeze by that. And I was just talking to Councilman Knudsen, and so it's so exciting that I can't believe I was going to squeeze right over you. This is a discussion for possible action regarding an exclusive negotiating agreement, ENA, for the purpose of developing a mixed-use development to include multifamily units and ground floor retail located northeast corner of Wellness Way and Shadow Lane between City of Las Vegas and Parting Seas Investments, LLC developer, Ward 1, with Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Knudsen. And so,
it's me again. Once again, Ryan Smith, Director of Economic and Urban Development. For the record, excited to bring forward this ENA between the city and Parting Seas Investment, LLC. Again, I need to do my thank yous. Tracy Reich, Jennifer Henderson, from my team, legal, the Parting Seas team. I know Mr. Jason Madelon, representing them, is watching live today, as well as Mr. Brian Turner is in the audience. Before I do go into this presentation, I just want to, again, kind of preface this as this is a general concept right now. We're still very early in discussions on exactly what this will look like, exactly how many units we'll have, exactly how much retail there will be. But again, we just wanted to give you kind of conceptually what we're discussing here. In the coming 6 months, we'll really be flushing out. The developer is going to be doing geotechnical work, environmental work. We're going to be flushing out a land acquisition price. They're going to be doing due diligence on the site. They're putting their financial plan together. They're looking at the total scope of the project, any infrastructure that's needed in the area. So that will all be done within this next 6 months, and then we'll come back to you with a disposition and development agreement that will really, again, flush out all the details, the very specific details of this project. So with that, I will jump in. As mentioned, this is the concept. It would be a mixed-use apartment retail building. The developer is currently looking at around 150 to 200 units. There'd be 9,000 to 20,000 square feet of retail, which is much needed in and around the medical district. We've done many studies in the area on with whether it's staff from UMC, students from UNLV, staff from Valley, that's really needed in the area. In this design, it has 3 levels of on-site parking, an amenity deck focused on wellness and potentially a fitness center, and then a public outdoor space, just some green space in the area that will, I think, really connect the campus-like feel of what's going on in the medical district. This is the site, just so you know. Obviously, just a little bit to the east of Shadow, just to the north of Wellness, smashed between G2 Capital's development project that's just to the south of that site, as well as if you go 2 properties to the north, that's the 9 acres that's for the UNLV School of Medicine campus. These are just some inspiration on the design of the building and what it could potentially look like, some of the aesthetics. Again, very preliminary. We'll really flesh out exactly what it looks like, but this is what the developer is kind of looking at in terms of the aesthetics of the actual building. This is a rendering and just a massing. You can see really a sketch. It does show a lounge, an amenity deck, a co-working space. This, you can see it a little bit better of how it'll be laid out with the parking garage and the retail on the ground floor, garage going all the way up to level 3, units above that, and all the way to the east. That's where the gym, the pool deck, the co-working space, and the lounge would be. And again, just to reemphasize the importance of retail, when we're working on selecting a developer for this ENA, it was very important that we were able to meet that need. And so, just different tenants being looked at, obviously coffee shops, restaurants, childcare, which again is much needed in that area, as well as the on-site parking. So with that, that's my presentation on the project.
The property immediately to the east, but also on the North Wellness Way, continuing to Martin Luther King Jr., is that's city property, correct, with a park?
Yes, Mayor, that's the Bearden Park that we dedicated to the Bearden family.
And so that is permanent as a public space?
Yeah, and directly east is the Public Health Lab for the Southern Nevada Health District. And then east of that is the Bearden Family Park.
Okay. Wow. It's wonderful. Any questions, comments from council? I'll turn this over then to you, please, if you would, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just think it's important to talk about the development in that area. So if you look on that site, directly north is the medical school, and because of the investment from the state of Nevada and the city of Las Vegas, there'll be 2 additional buildings there taking up that entire parking area. So that'll be a public health lab as well as a mental health and other medical services. And then on the partnership between the city of Las Vegas and UNLV and G2 Capital, directly adjacent to this site, we'll have a hotel, a parking garage, plus 100,000 square feet of medical office space. And if you were to look a couple blocks west, there'll be a 7-story apartment complex, which is, we're working with Cedar Street on that. There's also the Women's Cancer Center, which is on Tonopah, Hamilton. And so the entire area is being developed, and I'm obviously in full support of this project. I've been working closely with Mr. Smith for more time than I would like. And so with all the due diligence, which is really important to this project, the only request I have is to go faster, because I believe that the development of this area has everything to do with improving the quality and access to health care in our community. This is exactly what incoming doctors need. This is what students need. This is what nurses need. Everybody who works to make the medical district successful needs a place to live and work and play in the same area. So this is about improving healthcare, and I think the faster we can move, the faster we'll see our statistics in healthcare moving forward. And
so before you make your motion, both those parking spaces south of Wellness but north of Hastings, I know the one on the east was just completed, but those are committed to those buildings you just mentioned?
Those are the universities, and I am very aggressively strongholding them to say to develop it into something bigger and better than a parking lot. It's about 3 acres of land there, and I think there's an appetite on behalf of UNLV. This is the dental school parking lot and medical school parking lot. If we develop that in partnership with them to be a parking garage, we can fit more in that area. So very aggressively pushing UNLV to think broader and bigger around how they would use a paved parking lot to develop something better than that.
Excellent. Okay.
So with all of that, this is about improving healthcare, and I move to approve. And thank you for all your work on this and your team, Mr. Smith.
Wonderful. There's a motion to approve agenda item 42. Please vote and please post. That carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're just really excited about it. So necessary. Okay, items 43 and 44 being trailed to later in the meeting. And we are now at boards and commissions. Number 45, discussion for possible action regarding the reappointment of Councilwoman Victoria Seaman to the Audit Oversight Committee. Councilwoman Seaman was originally appointed to the board in July of 2019. She currently serves as the chair of the board, and my motion is to approve that reappointment if she is so inclined to continue.
At your service.
Thank you. Okay, that's my motion. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to agenda item 46, discussion for possible action regarding the reappointment of Jennifer Young to the Southern Nevada Health District Public Health Advisory Board. Ms. Young was appointed to a 2-year term in 2021. She's eligible and wishes to be reappointed, and I move to make that reappointment. Please vote. And please post on Ms. Young. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Young. We'll move on to agenda item 47, recommending bills eligible for adoption at this meeting. Bill number 202313. Councilman Knutson, would you like to have the bill read?
Knutson says yes.
Bill number 2023-13, an ordinance to amend LVMC Chapter 6.82 relating to smoking and vaping lounges and smoke or vape shops, to regulate hemp and hemp-derived products, revise related zoning provisions, and to provide for other related matters.
And Councilman Knutson, would you like to make the motion, please?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve.
Okay, there's a motion to approve agenda item 47. Please vote and please post. They all?
I'm sorry, it was unanimous.
Unanimous. It's up and down so fast. We are so efficient here. All right, agenda 48, number 49, bills number 22314 and 15 will be heard at a later meeting. And now we are at new bills. Item number 50, bill number 2023-16 will be heard at the recommending committee meeting Monday, July 17th, 2023. Assistant City Attorney, would you read the new bill, please?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 2023-16, an ordinance to readopt LVMC Section 10.2.10, the municipal code provision making state law misdemeanors city misdemeanors if committed within the city.
Thank you. New bill number 2023-16 is signed to the July 17, 2023 recommending committee members, Councilman Knutson and Councilwomen Seaman and Polensky. If any so designated, unable to attend, the clerk's office will coordinate and finding substitutes as necessary in my direction, please. Okay, we will move on now to agenda item 51. Item number 51 through 53 may be considered in one motion, one vote, considered routine public hearing items with no condition changes. Any person representing an application or a member of the public or member of the council not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions to the applications recommended by staff should request to have that item removed from this portion of the agenda. Item number 51, 230098, applicant owner 1015 Huntridge LLC and the following land use entitlement project request on .41 acres at 608 South Maryland Parkway, C2 General Commercial Zone, Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz. Number 51, I'm going to just read 51A and B. 23098 SUP1, proposed gaming establishment, restricted use 1 to 5 machines, and 230098 SUP2 for proposed alcohol on premise full use with waiver of Appendix F, interim downtown Las Vegas development standards for parking. Number 52, 23011115, WVR1, applicant owner County of Clark, Department of Real Property Management on land use entitlement project request to allow an 8-foot tall solid wall erected between the property front line, the front property line and the primary structure where 5 feet with a 2-foot solid base is maximum height allowed, 2.65 acres at 121 South Martin Luther King Boulevard, T5-M, T5 Maker Zone, and that's Ward 1 with Councilman Knutson. Number 53, 230120 SUP1, applicant Nahiba Rivera, owner Buffalo Alta Center LLC, on a land use entitlement project request for a proposed 2,551 square foot alcohol on premise beer wine use at 450 South Buffalo Drive, Suite 115, C1 Limited Commercial Zone, Ward 1 with Councilman Knutson. Planning Commission and staff recommend approval. These are public hearings which I declare open. Hearing and seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Mayor Pro Tem may have a motion for the one motion, one vote items, please.
Madam Mayor, before making my motion, I just want to point out that item number 53 is the Gondola Restaurant at 450 South Buffalo. I was there last week. The food is excellent, and the chef is sitting in the audience. So go forth and be successful so I can bring more people there. With that, I will move to approve all items on the one motion, one vote agenda.
Thank you very much. Please vote and please post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Now we are into agenda item 54. Yes. Okay, 230199 EOT1, public hearing, applicant owner ETG Choi LLC for possible action land use entitlement project request for the 12th extension of time for a non-conforming liquor establishment tavern, use alcohol on premise full and gaming establishment restricted, 6 to 15 machines at 1930 Fremont Street, Suite A, T4-C, T4 Corridor Zone. This is Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz, and staff recommends denial. It is a public hearing which I declare open, and is the applicant or representative present? At this point, coming? Okay, please come on down and state your name for the record and your comments before I turn them over to our planning department. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Eun Altizer.
My name is Alien Kim. I'm just helping Eun.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Do you want to make any comments at this point? I'll just turn it over to Mr. Floyd.
I purchased this property last year, and then you have approved for the tavern permit, and I had the tenant ready for the develop and then do the business open, but somehow he kept delay, and then he's kind of like a default. So now I have a new tenant. He is Andy. He's a local. And he willing to make open business in there. and he gonna get the license by August if you are allowed. So please, one more time approve, and then we're gonna get to do business.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's turn it over to planning, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record. Mayor, since the 11th approved request for an EOT, a new ordinance went into effect that allows for operation of a full alcohol establishment as well as up to 5 gaming machines in conformance with the distance separations from protected uses. Non-conforming uses should not be perpetuated if they can be made to conform to our Title 19 requirements, and staff is therefore recommending denial of this requested extension. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, or is there anyone from the public who would like to make comment on agenda item 54? I will close public hearing and we'll turn this over unless there are comments from council. I think we're good. Councilwoman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Obviously, when we see an extension of time for the 12th time, all of us on the council appear like, what is going on? It's been too long. That was my assumption, but I was invited to come by and check out what was happening with the space that has this attached to it, and was pleasantly surprised to see that there is some activity happening. The restrooms have been restored, the space is being worked on. The owners and the partners are born and raised here from our Vegas town. They're minority business owners. These are all things that we want to see as a community in terms of support and helping them get their project. It's going to be a live jazz lounge, and they really want to maintain this old tavern because they won't be able to get the number of gaming machines if we deny this EOT. So I told them that they have 1 year to get their jazz lounge up and operational and going through the process, that this would be the last time that I would extend it, just to make sure that we're giving them the best shot at bringing their business into our community. We know that Fremont East needs a lot more activation, and hopefully they'll bring this lounge and it'll spur some more interest in filling in other spaces around the vicinity. So due to those reasons, I'm going to move to approve agenda item 54 for another additional year to give these business operators and owners an opportunity to get it off the ground.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Great reasoning to please vote. There's a motion.
With all staff conditions, yes.
With all staff conditions. And Mr.
And Mayor, if I could just make a quick comment. If there is work being done, we don't have a record of any open building permits, so just a reminder to the applicant, they need to get their building permits as they build out the space.
Okay. Noted.
Very important. Don't fail on that.
Make sure that they have the permits to be doing the work internally.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That motion carries. Good luck. Wonderful. Motion carries.
Thank you, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Building permits, building permits.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman. I couldn't agree more. I think it's wonderful. What was the property immediately to the east with the hatch marks on it?
I believe that's Odyssey Pizza, that they still sell pizza and wings and chicken fingers
Good.
for consumption.
Yes.
Really delicious
One
spot.
eater over there. Okay, great, thanks. Okay, agenda item 55, 220718 SDR1, public hearing, applicant owner, XO's Apartment LLC, possible action, land use entitlement project request for a 3-story, 20-unit multifamily residential development with waivers of the Title 19.09 form-based code development standards and .20 acres, east side of 9th Street, approximately 170 feet, 3 feet north of Stewart Avenue, T5-N, T5 neighborhood zone, Ward 5, Councilman Creer. Planning Commission recommends approval. Staff recommends denial. This is a public hearing, which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present? If I might, please, if you would, planning.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Peter Lowenstein for the record. The applicant is attempting to overdevelop the site by proposing a density of 100 dwelling units per acre. That has resulted in the request for numerous waivers including a waiver to allow for 3 vehicles, where the form-based code will require a range of 12 to 21 parking spaces. Therefore, staff is recommending denial of the site development plan review. Thank you.
And Councilman Creer?
Well, I thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I don't like to, if the applicants can make it down, I'm not sure if they're going to be here or not. I did meet with them yesterday. They were excited about the project, so would it be possible to trail this until the end and see if they pop up here at some point?
Can your staff give them a call? Maybe there's a confusion on date or something? Okay, so we'll trail
Thank you.
agenda item 55 and move on to 56, which is 56A and B. 230047, following land use entitlement project request on 1.15 acres northeast corner of Jefferson Avenue and D Street. This is T4MS, T4 Main Street Zone. 56A 23004701 from T3-N, T3 Neighborhood to T4-MS, T4 Main Street. And number 56B 230047 SDR1, proposed 5-story mixed-use development consisting of 104 residential units with 6,438 square feet of commercial space and a single-story 5,776 square foot commercial development. Applicant owners, City of Las Vegas, Planning Commission, and staff recommend approval. These are in Ward 5 of the Council and Creer, and are public hearings, which I declare open. Hi there. We know you.
Good morning.
Please, if you'll announce yourself.
Grant Garcia, Share Downtown, Cherry Development, 900 South Las Vegas Boulevard. Morning, Madam Mayor and council members. So this is our third Share Downtown project in the downtown area, the first being in the Arts District. The second we just opened a few months ago at Fremont East District, and this will be our third of the brand, and it's going to be in the west side on D and Jefferson, and really looking to be our trophy project of this brand. This design that you see here is where we've landed after multiple discussions with EUD, Councilman Creer's office, as well as public meetings presenting to the community. We're super excited about the project as well as everything going on in the area. To give you a brief kind of what's going on with the project, along Jefferson here, in total we'll have about 12,000 square feet of retail. On Jefferson we'll have about D Street will have about 5,400 square feet of food hall concept, and another 6,400 square feet of retail along Jefferson, and that's going to be in partnership with the city. And what we'll be looking to do is some small business incubators, maybe some mentorship programs, things along that lines to help support the immediate area. We also, in all of our projects, we partner with the RTC, so we're looking to install another bike share in front of this building that'll help interconnect the entire downtown into our projects, as well as the rest of downtown. We have fully secured entrance. The design is a modern architectural design. Like our other Share Downtown projects, we like to partner with the local community, local artists, and help give them an opportunity to really imprint, their vision and their design of the area. So these murals here are just some murals that we have on our other buildings, but just some examples. We also have some artifacts from the New Jerusalem Church that we're going to be incorporating into the design. We'll have 4 floors, 104 apartments. There'll be about 500 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, workforce housing. And then we'll also have an upstairs deck. We'll have 2 upstairs decks that you'll be able to have great views of the city. We do multiple resident events every single month so that we can connect the city, be be able to create some revenue from local businesses, buy food from some of the local restaurants, and have all of our residents participate. So with that, that's, kind of a
Parking.
brief discussion, and yes.
Parking?
Yes, so we've got 65 spaces for parking. What we found, we've had a huge demand, well, not a huge demand, but we've had a demand to be able to rent the spaces. So we'll be able to rent the spaces for an additional fee on top of that. So with that, happy to answer any questions. And like I said, we're extremely excited to do another project in downtown.
A timeline, assuming this goes through?
As soon as possible, yeah, so we'll move, we're pretty far. The nice thing is that this is a very similar design to our other two buildings, and that's been the concept for Share Downtown. And maybe as you know, the Arts District, we finished in 9 months. We finished that project in 9 months. We finished Fremont East in about 12 months, so we build stuff, and we finish stuff, and, we're here to be in downtown.
And is the land that this is going on, is it level? And obviously, you're only going down just one level for the garage?
All surface. So all the projects are all surface, so we start on the first floor. And then there's going to be parking behind the building, all secured parking. The land is ready. It's vacant and fenced up by the city.
Great. We have a great product, really great. So if there are questions, comments, yes, please, Councilwoman Polinsky.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One quick question. You mentioned workforce housing. Is that a percentage? Is the rest market rate? How are you going to work?
Yeah, so it'll be a percentage, and it's part of our agreement with the city, all based on HUD AMI. And the city was great about, making sure that it is workforce housing. We're extremely excited about the CSN campus that's going across the street. We feel like this would be a great opportunity for those students, teachers, faculty, to be able to live very close.
And one other question, is there public transportation either on D or Jefferson?
There is. So there is an RTC stop on D Street. So it's about a block, within the block from the project.
Okay, great. Okay, well, yes, Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you. Good to see you, Mr. Garcia.
Nice to see you.
This time off the pickleball courts.
Right.
I don't know how many of you know he's an aficionado, so keep that in the back of your heads if you need lessons. Did want to ask you, how are you doing with your current Share Downtowns in terms of renting those spaces out? Are you 100% at capacity both in downtown and the newly opened Stewart? Just interested in knowing how well you guys are doing.
It's a great question. It was interesting, our Arts District project, which is off of Casino Center in Colorado, we're supposed to open March of 2020. That got pushed back for obvious reasons. Ended up opening July 2020. We leased that building up extremely fast, even in the middle of COVID, and I think it has to do with just our project, our team that we have together, our outreach to the local businesses and community. So we're 100% leased out at the Arts District, have a waiting list for those units. At Fremont East, we're at about 55% leased out, and we just opened that about 3 months ago. We had a grand opening there, and the demand seems to be still pretty strong.
It's good to hear you're doing so well. Looking forward to you being at 100% too at your newly opened Share
Us too.
Downtown.
Knock on wood. Thank you.
Great projects, always. Okay, without any other comments, Councilman Creer, please.
Thank you. We are very excited about this project. Can't wait to get the shovel in the ground. And without any further delay, I'm going to make a motion to approve item 56A and B.
Excellent. It's a motion on agenda item 56, 56A and B. Please vote and please post. Wonderful.
Thank you all.
Keep going.
Have a great day.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. We'll move on to 57, and that will be 57A through G. 57 is 230088 on the following land use entitlement project request on 1.75 acres northeast corner of Charleston Boulevard, Mohawk Street, C1 Limited Commercial Zone. 220088 BL1 to allow 36 parking spaces where 66 are required. Number 57B, 30088 VAR2 to allow 5-foot front and side yard setback where 10 feet is required, a residential adjacency matching setback of 5 feet where 14 feet is required. 57C 23-008 SUP1 proposed drive-through use. 57D 23-0088 SUP2 for proposed drive-through use. 57E 23-0088 SUP3 for proposed auto repair garage minor use. 57F 23-0088 SUP4 proposed 3,085 square foot alcohol off-premise beer wine use, and number 57G 23-0088 SDR1 proposed 9,967 square foot commercial development including convenience store with fuel pumps and canopy, 2 restaurants with drive-through, and a minor auto repair garage with waivers perimeter landscape buffer requirements. The applicant is VAC Development. The owner is Bliss Development 6 LLC. Planning Commission recommends approval on 23-0088 VA01, SUP1, SUP2, SUP4, and denial on 23-0088 VAR2, SUP3, and SDR1. Staff recommends denial on the entire land use entitlement project. These are in Ward 1 with Councilman Knutson, and are public hearings, which I now declare open. Is the applicant or representative present? Hello.
Hello, good morning, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Tony Sless, address 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. Here on behalf of the applicant, also in attendance with me is Devin Sansone, the applicant. What we have before you is a redevelopment an infill parcel, located on about 1.75 acres on the northeast corner of Charleston and Mohawk. Infill parcels at times can be a little bit difficult based just on existing infrastructure and designs around us. So we did have some of those things that we had to overcome. And I think we're now bringing before you a development that will fit nicely into the area and fill in this parcel here. Between Planning Commission and today's hearing, we did work with your staff, in particular Ms. Edos, on a slight revision to this to further enhance this development. First, let me go over a little bit details and then some of the changes we've made. As you can see, we're going to have 2 access points, one off Charleston, one off Mohawk. We're going to realign some of these driveways to make the driveway on Mohawk align up with the driveway across from Wells Fargo there. That'll help with access through here. We are proposing a convenience store use, a auto repair use, and then a drive-through Starbucks use here. One of the major changes we've made is actually shrinking the size of our garage here, of our auto use. It was 4,000 square feet. It is now just over 3,600 square feet. What that's allowed us to do is make more of a uniform landscape buffer in the back. The building did jet out into this landscaping area here, making it for a smaller landscape buffer. We've been able to increase that and provide a uniform 10 feet across this. Additionally, we have enhanced our landscaping along the eastern property line adjacent to the existing retail here. I believe we do now meet all of the perimeter landscaping shown on this plan. So we appreciate your staff working with us and with the Mayor Pro Tem. I do realize when you read the parking variance reduction, the number does seem stark, but I think when you drill down and look more specifically at the uses, it does make a little more sense. These are quick service type uses. You can see we have a convenience store and fuel pumps. Average wait time or visitor time in these is less than 4 minutes. And if you are there, you're usually under the fuel canopy fueling up. The auto repair use, again, is essentially drop your vehicle off for the repair and pick it up later that day. It is no overnight repairs. This right here is a Starbucks. It is a drive-through only Starbucks. You'll start seeing some of those being rolled out. As you can see, it is less than 1,500 square feet. So for those reasons, this will not be a very parking heavy, parking demanded site. And we appreciate, again, like I said, staff's second review of all this. We agree with all the conditions of approval, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Before we move forward, and I want to hear from planning, charging stations are not 4 minutes. So are you having and looking forward to your development that you're going to have several charging stations? And and I pass it just back to Councilman.
If I may, just one moment. I will let Mr. Sansone answer that directly for you.
Okay. Hi.
Good evening, Council. Devin Sansone, 6623 Las Vegas Boulevard. They have a future design for some of them. They do have to have a bigger infrastructure. Currently, we have to upsize the transformer when we were talking to NV Energy for what we would have to do. So we would have to see how we would have a capacity, but it is something that they're looking to do along the back to add.
Okay. Thank you, because I'm sure then that gives more considerations to planning as well as to what can be, and if they're dangerous to those or not. So at this point, unless there was something else you wanted to add, and I believe this is public hearing, so let's hear from planning first, please.
Thanks, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record. Mayor, since the Planning Commission, the applicant has submitted a revision, which Mr. Celeste just went over, depicting the minor reduction in square footage of the auto repair use, increasing the buffer depth along Alpine Place, and the addition of trees within the landscape buffer. These revisions and an updated staff report are in your backup materials. Although an improvement over the previous deficiencies, the subject site, as proposed, is overbuilt, as evidenced by the significant parking deficiency and the requested deviations from the residential adjacency standards, the landscape buffer depths, and the setbacks. Furthermore, the intensity of the uses being proposed cannot be conducted in a compatible and harmonious manner with those in the surrounding area, especially the residential to the north of the subject site on Alpine. As such, staff is recommending denial of the applications. And Mayor, if you'll bear with me, if approved, because of the changes, there's some conditions that I need to read for these applications that, if approved, they'll need to go in the motion. For item number 57A, 23-0088, variance 1, VAR 1, amend condition number 1 to reflect 36 parking spaces where 65 are required. For item number 57B, 23-0088, VAR 2, amend condition number 1 to reflect a residential matching setback of 10 feet where 14 feet is required. Item number 57G, 22-0088, SDR 1, amend condition number 3 to reflect a site plan and building elevation date stamped 6/12/23 and a landscape plan date stamped 6/15/23. Amend condition number 4 to reflect a 10-foot wide landscape buffer along a portion of the north perimeter where 15 feet is required. Amend condition number 7 to read as follows. A waiver from Title 1908.070 is hereby approved to allow a 5-foot wide landscape buffer along the east perimeter where 8 feet is required. And I apologize, I misread the SDR number. It should be 23-0088 SDR1, not 22. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to make comment on agenda item 57A through G? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Back to you, Mr. Celeste. Anything to add?
No, nothing additional, thank you. We agree with the amended conditions.
Okay, thank you. And any comments, questions? And to you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thanks for your work on this project. It's been going back and forth between the Planning Commissioner and Ms. Eddowes from your department. Mr. Floyd, thank you for all of her work. Thank her for all of her work. Just a couple of thoughts, just for anybody who may be watching, the thought process that I went through. When the project first came forward, wasn't the most exciting thing I've ever seen. I drive by this lot every single day, multiple times a day, but it's also been a vacant lot ever since I've been in Las Vegas. And so some of the surrounding issues on Alpine Place, there's been an increase in crime lately. There's 2 housing complexes down there, senior housing complexes, just a couple of blocks from there that have had significant crime issues. And also across the street, we have Lindell Living, which is a brand new development along Charleston. Infill development, which is all of my ward, is the most complicated to process and to figure out, and everybody has an opinion about what should go on some of these vacant lots. Every single person in that neighborhood is going to want to park. That's not possible, especially along the Charleston corridor. And every single person is going to want the city to direct what can go there. I don't think that's the role of government. I do appreciate your client's ability to kind of work with us and figure out what is best for that particular parcel. And out of my due diligence working with that neighborhood and the senior complexes around there, I have found that vacant lots are the very worst for crime and for people who hang out in areas they shouldn't be hanging out. Development makes that go away, and activating the space makes that go away. It makes it a safer environment for everyone around it. I also think Charleston is a heavily traveled corridor, the most heavily traveled corridor, I think, within southern Nevada, and so I think it's really good for business. For all of those reasons, public safety being my primary concern, good business being my secondary concern, and I appreciate your client's willingness to put a lot of vegetation in the area, because I think it'll help beautify the Charleston corridor, which I think has enormous potential, and I think we'll continue to see development along the Charleston corridor. And those are all of my reasons, and I appreciate you and your client's willingness to work with the city. And with all of that, Madam Mayor, I would move to approve items 57A through G with all of the stated conditions by Mr. Floyd.
And Mayor Pro Tem, could we just have Tony confirm that his client accepts the new conditions?
We confer, I confirm, yes, we agree to all the conditions as read and amended.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, there's a motion to approve on Agenda 57. Please vote and please post. And again, I think your reasoning is, and driving that myself for the past 40 years, it seems, there's been nothing there. So great, go forth, wonderful, congratulations. What's the timeline?
Well, hopefully we have leases executed. We are probably 12 to 15 months out, we hope, from.
Excellent.
So we're moving.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you working with us.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right, let's go back to agenda item 55. Councilmen, they're here? Okay, this is 220718 SDR1, public hearing, applicant owner, Exos Apartment LLC, possible action, land use entitlement project request for a 3-story, 20-unit multifamily residential development with waivers of the title 19.09 form-based coast development standards on .20 acres east side of 9th Street, approximately 173 feet north of Stewart Avenue, T5-N, T5 neighborhood zone. This is in Ward 5 with Councilman Creer. And Planning Commission recommends approval. Staff recommends denial. This is a public hearing which I declare open, and I know you are the applicants or representative.
Yes.
You
yes,
are.
Your Honor. Brandon Davis, 1804 Safford Place, Henderson, Nevada. I apologize for being late. This is my first city council meeting, but that's no excuse. But
You should have been here at 6 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, next time.
That's when you started driving on that highway. And with you is?
Susanna Rutar, our architect for the project.
Wonderful.
So then to get us started, we bought this parcel, .2 acres, 314 North 9th Street, and demolished the house that was on it, which was abandoned and was built in 1931. Our goal is to build 20 units with the zoning of the T5. As you can see, we do a more hotel style for security reasons, and so there will be 2 entrances here and here, and then to the units. And then we did have a meeting with Councilman Creer yesterday, and from the Planning Commission's view, we had 3 variances, and we got 2 of them done, but the parking seems to be an issue, which is what I wanted to talk about today. And as of right now, we are in a parking agreement with the owner across the street that has up to 60 spaces. We are on a 5-year term with him, and to up to 15 spaces, but yes. And then, yeah, I'd say that is.
And how does that parking agreement, I might have to ask legal on it, but should the people across the street decide to sell their property, is your legal agreement binding on that sale?
So then, if they do sell, we would have a backup plan for that, in which case the city does own 3 parking lots within, one is 2-block radius, which is right next to Fremont 9, which has 300 spaces, and another one is next to the El Cortez parking garage, which is 3 blocks away, which has 30 spaces and 80 spaces, and most of those are empty Most of the time I drive by them. And I talked to the parking supervisor yesterday, and she stated that on a month-to-month basis, it would work as well for that. So we do have a backup plan in case he did want to sell.
I don't want to create problems for you, but this is public hearing, so is there anyone who wishes to speak on agenda item 55? Please come forward, state your name for the record.
Is the staff report in yet?
Hearing none, I will close, and seeing none, I'll close public hearing, turn it over to planning.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Peter Lowenstein for the record. So I did do the presentation the first time it was read into the record, but I can do that again. But a point of clarification on shared parking and off-site parking agreements. Off-site parking agreements have to be under common ownership and then are in perpetuity. Shared parking has to be in excess of the other sites' required parking and also run with it. So the arrangements that I'm hearing right now are not running in perpetuity and therefore cannot subsidize the requirements of the zoning code for the parking on the site. Just to clarify that, it might be a temporary solution, but it's not of anything of permanence. And so in light of that, my original presentation is that staff believes the site's being overdeveloped, and as evidenced by the parking deficiency, as well as the other waivers that are part of the application, and we are recommending denial of the application. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, Jim Lewis, City Attorney's Office, I'd like to add to that if I might. What I think you've heard is that it's good that he's got some temporary parking for now, but our code wouldn't allow him to substitute that parking and add it to the parking count for the site. So it's good that he's got some temporary parking, but it doesn't count towards the variance.
Thank you. And on your property here, too, I would imagine RTC bus route?
I believe that is on the next street over, but from what I see in the future is that the boring tunnel will be built 4 blocks away in the distant maybe 5 years, and then the city's redoing Stewart Street right now to add bike lanes, and they have a couple other driving options in which there's autonomous vehicles that can do ride share. So basically there's a lot of incentives to not have a car and live downtown.
And these are multi-family residential units. How many bedroom are these, and what is the square footage that you're having
all of them will be
family?
All of them will be 1 bed, but the first floor will be studio size, and then the second floor will be a loft. So basically, it's a 2-story unit, and they range from 450 to 700. So like
They're all 1 bedroom.
1 bedroom, yes.
Well, I think at this point, probably, I know I'm questions that I'm sure Councilman Creer has gone over everything carefully. Yes, he's shaking his head. So unless council has comments, it sounds like there are a lot of questions here. But please, Councilman Creer, and thank you both for coming. Next time, you can add an hour each time you appear. See? Come a little later. Go for it.
Thank you. This project ultimately is taken, just like the previous project, is taking a vacant parcel of land that is badly needed in our community to be revitalized. And although the parking situation is not perfect and that your relationship with the vacant parcel is not perfect, it is a step forward, and think that it does show that you understand that there's a need. So with that, and if there's another question, I'm going to make a motion for approval of item number 55.
Okay, any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we apologize again.
I have a loud voice, I guess not that loud. Agenda item 58, 230113, public hearing, applicant owner Sienda Evelyn, for possible action on the following land use entitlement project requests on .46 acres at 6010 Moonlight Drive, APN 12527 610-056, Ward 6, Councilwoman Bruni. The Planning Commission vote recommends approval on the entire land use entitlement project. Staff recommends denial on the land use entitlement project. And so is the applicant here. If you would please give us your name.
Good morning, Council. My name is Joe Feliciano. Representing my family, we purchased the entitlement of the property. We're requesting for variance and rezoning, seeking approval.
Okay. This is a public hearing also. Is anyone interested in making comments on agenda item 58? Please come forward and state your name for the record. I'll close the public hearing. Turn this over to planning, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record. Mayor, the applicant is proposing to rezone the subject site in order to subdivide the lot into two. This will result in a residential lot having driveway access to an 85-foot wide secondary thoroughfare or collector street as defined by the Master Plan of Streets and Highways, which is prohibited. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow this driveway access, which staff does not support and is recommending denial of both the variance and the rezoning application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comment from council?
I do.
Yes, please, Councilman Crear.
Thank you. I just don't understand what you're trying to do. I apologize, but is there a way you can better explain to me? Because the agenda item, a vehicular access from a thoroughfare, are you going to take a residential estate, 1 acre, and you're going to divide it into into two parcels?
Yes.
And then you're going to use one parcel just for access for a...
We're planning to build 2 homes, one for my mom and my sister. What?
Okay, so you're going to take one parcel, divide it in two, and you're going to build 2 homes on those parcels. Okay, and maybe 58A, what is that all about?
So, Councilman, 58A is the variance to allow vehicular access from a primary, secondary thoroughfare. So what this means, if you look at, and I don't know if Jeff can pull up the, in your backup, there's a map that might make it a little bit easier. It's a parcel map that shows the access will actually be on Tropical. They will be required to have a circular driveway so you don't have cars backing out onto Tropical. Which would create a potential safety hazard, but that's how that would work, and that's what the variance is for, is to allow that access onto Tropical.
And if you might, if I might, thank you for that question. I did not read into the record 58A, which is 230113-1 variance to allow vehicular access from a primary or secondary thoroughfare with such is prohibited, and a 96-foot lot width adjacent to a primary or secondary thoroughfare where 100 feet is required, and 58B, 230113-1 rezoning from RE residence estates to R1 single-family residential. So that's what that became.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mayor, Seth Floyd for the record, and I'm sorry, I stopped short of the second part of that variance, which is the lot width variance along that thoroughfare as well. So it's the access and the lot width are part of 58A.
So is the applicant going to come back with a site development plan, or he's just go hither? Because I'm just trying to understand. I don't see anything in the backup, unless I'm missing something, that shows homes, access, thoroughfare, what that looks like, what the adjacencies may look like. It seems like this item is there, but there's nothing.
They were there.
Yeah, Councilman, if he got the rezoning and the variance, he would not need to come back with a site development review, because then assuming he met the development standards for an R1, he would just submit his building permits and move along, just like he would in any other straight zoning district. So that's why you're not seeing the actual home plans.
I don't know. I seem confused, but
So what we're asking is they have to come back.
no, they don't have to come back because he's going to take one parcel of land, turn it into 2 parcels of land. He's going to build 2 homes on there. You're going to create a thoroughfare that allows you to park vehicles.
No, Councilman, he's not creating the thoroughfare. The lots are adjacent, so, okay, it looks like the location map is there. So he's going to divide this lot that you see in green, the rectangle here, into 2. You will access those lots off of Tropical. So that's what's creating the need for the variance in 58A. But he's not creating a new thoroughfare. Tropical already exists in that location.
Nobody finds it odd that we don't know what that's going to look like? Like we're approving this, but we don't know if he's going to come out for Tropical. Are these homes going to be? How are they going to be situated? How are they going to be? There are other homes.
So, Madam Mayor, if I may, so one would be fronting onto Moonlight Drive, so that's where that driveway would go. The second lot that would be created on the backside would be facing only Tropical Parkway as frontage, so therefore it would have to have a driveway to that roadway, which currently the code prohibits. And as such, you would have to have a circular driveway so that there was no backwards movement into the right-of-way coming off of that parcel.
Mayor, Councilman, if I may. Councilman, what we have here is the houses are a permitted use. Councilman?
Yep.
If I just may, the houses on this site will be a permitted use. So the look back that the city will do will be when the building permits come in. At that time, we're going to see if it complies with all of our code provisions. Yes. If at that time the building permits and the houses comply with all of our code provisions, we then issue a permit. There's no reason to come back because our code allows it as a matter of law. It's a permitted use these 2 homes would be a permitted use.
But it would have to come back if he wanted to build a casita behind one of them.
Yeah, let's say that he comes in with building plans that don't comply with the code without changes, then he gets to come back through the process.
You know, before I would do a zoning change from an RE to an R1, I would want to know what's going to go there. And I would want to know what I'm approving because you could go from RE and all of those, I'm assuming, where I'm looking, those homes, where it's located, is in an area that they're surrounded by REs, right? And so if you are, I live in an RE development, and so I wouldn't want to approve and change the zoning of an RE site without knowing exactly what's going to go there, to go from RE to R1 to RPD, whatever it is. I would need to know what was going to go there, me personally. And I would need to know what that looks like. I would need to know that, you've reached out to, if I lived on Beach Nest Avenue or Cloudy Ridge, I'd want to know what's going to go there. And so it seems like we're giving you we're changing an entitlement from one design to the other without knowing what we're doing. I personally, in my 2 years on Planning Commission and 5 years on council, me personally, I would need to know what was going there. And not to say you're going to do anything nefarious, and not to say that you're going to do anything that's not appropriate. I think we owe it to the community to let them know what's going there. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yes, Councilwoman Diaz, before I turn it over to Council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just was asking our legal counsel about what single-family residential means, and I do understand Councilwoman Creer's question about because single-family residential can be up to 5 units per acre, but I'm sure that the applicant has had lengthy discussions with the ward office. No? They haven't talked to you at all about it? Okay. Usually I do make sure that I have that lengthy discussion, so I have that level of comfort, so that I see what you're going to do, I see your vision. If it's going to be the two homes, you kind of show me a model of the two homes, and that way I can then, in good conscience, know that we can support your vision and that it does conform for the benefit of the community. But knowing she hasn't heard from you, I'm going to go ahead and let Councilwoman Bruni take the mic so she can ask questions.
Okay. Any other questions, comments here? Okay, let's turn this over to Councilwoman Bruni, whose ward this is in.
Thank you, Mayor. So good to see you. I would like to, we haven't met about this particular project, and one of my questions was related to some of the concerns that Councilman Creer raised, which is we know that the homes to the northwest and east of this project are zoned RE, and so one of my questions is, have you talked to all of your neighbors about, your plans and what they're, whether they're okay with the project?
I think the rezoning land department said they were going to put out a notification sign. I'm not sure if they did that yet. I think they've done it.
They did, yes, they did. Okay.
So, yes.
Yeah, and there seem to be mixed sort of some folks in opposition, some folks in support. But I would like to obey this item until our next council meeting so that we could have a chance to meet. And I don't know if you do have house site plans, but it'd be great to see them.
We haven't had any site plans yet because we're not even sure if the zoning would get approved. So we were hoping to see if it does get approved, then we'll come up with our plans and our concepts of the homes from my mom and my sister.
Well, I guess my understanding would be even if the style of the home wouldn't necessarily be different based on the zoning. So if you do have some draft plans, it'd be great to actually just sit with you and maybe talk through the plans and what you have in mind.
What, like the architectural style?
Mm-hmm.
It's contemporary.
Well, again, I think it'd be helpful if you and I just set up some time to sit down together, like 30 minutes between now and the next July 19th, to just talk about the project.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so your motion.
So my motion is to obey item 23-0113 until the July 9th. 58A and B until July 19th, please. Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion to obey this item till July 19th. We only have one meeting in July, so that would be it. All in favor, please vote and please post for any. And that motion carries.
Okay.
So you'll make an appointment with council.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 59, and that's 59A, B, C, D, and E. And so, wow. 59 is 230123, public hearing, applicant owner Blind Center Nevada, Inc. Possible action following land use entitlement project request on 4.48 acres, northeast corner of Washington and Classic Cars Lane, APM 13926-201-013. Ward 5, Councilman Creer. Planning Commission recommends approval on the entire land use entitlement project. Staff recommends approval on 230123-ZON1 and 230123-SNC1. Recommends denial on 230123-VAR1, VAR2, and SDR1. And 59A is 230123-ZON rezoning from C 59-V Civic to R3 Medium Density Residential, 59B 230123, the AR1 variance to allow 101 parking spaces where 152 are required, 59C 230123, the AR2 variance to allow a 6-foot tall fence within the front yard of a residential property where 5 feet is the maximum allowed. 59D 230123 SNC1, street name change from Classic Cars Lane to Visions Park Lane, generally located west of Bruce Street between Washington Avenue and Gregson Avenue. And 59E 230123 SDR1, site development plan review for proposed 3-story, 100-unit multifamily residential development with waivers of the perimeter landscape buffer standards. And so, this is a, please, if you would announce yourself. And
good morning, Madam Mayor, council members. Rami Ataut, Creative Design Architecture on behalf of the owner. I also have with me on behalf of the Blind Center of Nevada, Mr. Todd Amol, Mr. Hervander Davis, and Mr. Jeff Davis. This project is truly a very unique project in Nevada and probably one of a kind in Vegas. It's housing for the blind, 100-unit, 3-story building, which will provide a needed low-income, affordable housing for the blind. I want to be brief with the information. We did hold a neighborhood meeting on the project, and we have 0 opposition and 3 people in support. Regarding the variances requested, the parking variance, as you know, most of the people for blind, so they're not driving, but we are still providing at least 1 parking space per unit. For the increase in fencing height, we're requesting that for added security for the residents. The project will have a lot of amenities on site for the residents, such as walking, pool, community rooms, and gym. I would love to get your approval. Any questions you might have, I'll be glad to answer. Thank you.
can you describe a little bit just for us and audience the what you have in front of us? What's what?
Say that again, sorry.
Can you just describe your project right here?
Oh, sure. The project will be 100-unit, 3-story housing project for the blind. The project will consist of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units, a mix of 1 and 3-bedroom units. The project will have many amenities on site, such as community rooms, walking trails, pool and spa, gymnasium, and many other amenities on site. Any other information you'd like to know, I'll be glad to help you out.
Okay, well, we have questions, and this is public hearing. So please, Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a question about, obviously, I would hope that your hope is that the tenants or future tenants of this new community go to the Blind Center to receive some of the services and supports that you offer through the Blind Center and then be able to go back to their residential unit, kind of create that ecosystem, being that the Blind Center sits right on Bruce. So my question is, how are we ensuring that there's a pathway that's easy for someone who's visually impaired to navigate to and from their residential unit to the actual Blind Center?
Sure. Actually, there'll be multiple ways. The Blind Center of Nevada will provide a shuttle service between the housing project and the Blind Center of Nevada. We also have, I don't know if you can see it, on the north side of the building, we're proposing a pedestrian access through Clark County site, which will lead to the Blind Center of Nevada. And we're working on a cross-access agreement right now with Clark County on that.
Wonderful.
I couldn't, if you didn't point it out right now, I couldn't really see kind of the connectivity between the sites. I think it is important that they have the opportunity to walk and to move, because we know movement and physical health is part of, our overall health. So I just wanted to make sure that we had something that we're thinking ahead of and making sure that it is user-friendly for everyone that will eventually live there, because I think it's important that they have access to the services and then they can come back to their future homes, so.
Absolutely.
I think it's wonderful. Let me go to the public. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to come up and make comments? Let's hear from you first, please, and your name for the record, and then we'll have questions, but I want to hear from planning, too.
Yeah, so Jeff Davis, 1621 Brock Court, and I'm a board member of the Blind Center, and Councilman Creer's assistant encouraged me to come up and show this map, which would add a little more clarity to the conversation. So we appreciate Councilwoman Diaz's concern about mobility, and that is a huge problem within the blind community because they typically become very sedentary, and so, even though there's a little bit of a space between where the apartment complex is and the main campus, our goal would be two things. First of all, we're hoping, okay.
Now Jeff can zoom in on.
Okay, thank you. To answer your question, there will be three ways which members can get to the main campus, which will provide wraparound services. So the first would be is we have 3 transit buses that we will schedule that will be able to make this loop to come around, and we'll have scheduled times where we can deliver, take people back and forth from the apartment complex to the main campus. The other would be is for our members to walk this path here, and we have put in an access area here so that it keeps people off of Bruce, so that would be safe. And then the third, which is we've had conversations with the county who currently owns this property for warehouse spaces. It used to be Jim Rogers' Classic Cars. He had that classic car collection. Mm-hmm. And then after he passed away, his wife, Beverly, sold that property to the county, which they currently use for storage. And so right here, this little piece that I'm pointing to would make a great greenbelt walkway. And so we've spoken to the county. We don't have anything in contract with them yet, but in all the manager of this site from the county said yes, they would be glad to work with us to put a walkway through this part. Then members could then walk to the center that way. So it would be transit buses. They could walk around this way or come through the center and walk over to Gregson down, and then we have an access point in here that would take them to the main entrance to our main campus, and we would keep them out of a wide parking lot area, which would be very difficult for them to navigate through and potentially would be unsafe. So I hope that answers.
Maybe what you could do is buy the lower corner of the county property, and then you can connect to the blind center.
Perfect. Yes, exactly, yes.
I mean, just take this little piece off, just square it right. Right, no, even just the bottom, right there.
Yes, Mayor, we appreciate that insight. And our long-term plan for this whole 16 acres is we've been in conversations with the Fraternal Order of Eagles to one day when they said they're ready to sell that property, to buy that piece of property and then build phase 2 of our apartment complex. Because within the first month after we announced that we were going to build an affordable housing project, we had nearly 300 people who are in extreme poverty level awesome. Who applied to live here in this apartment complex. So our goal would be is to build this 100-unit apartment complex first, get everything up and operational, make sure everything works, and then negotiate to buy this other piece of property to then build between 100 to a 200-unit apartment complex there. And then the fourth phase, or the next phase of that would be is to do exactly what you've said, is to work with the county to purchase this property in phases so that we could use that for employment. Because those really are the two compelling issues that people that are blind have is safe and affordable housing and jobs.
Well, to me, I hate to waste time, and there are generations of people that need this, and certainly I would volunteer our council to help in any way that we are legally allowed to do to help the Blind Center accomplish this goal, and whether it's through working with the Fraternal Order of Eagles. So much today is just the personal contact and understanding the need that's there, and certainly for our Blind Center, which is doing such a beautiful job, but why waste time? So I'm just volunteering all of us to help accomplish what can be, unless legal says you can't do that. So let's turn this, if I may, before we go back, and we'll have comments, and I know Councilwoman Bruni wanted to comment, and we want to hear from planning too.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Peter Lowenstein for the record. Staff finds that the uniqueness of the use of the suites justifies the requested variances and waivers. Additionally, the rezoning brings the subject site into conformance with the site's general plan designation, and the requested street name change has no residential or commercial addresses assigned, and only the street sign will need to be changed. As such, staff is recommending approval of all applications. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Bruni, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe you said that some of the units will be 3-bedroom. Is that correct? Okay. And so are you envisioning a person who's visually impaired and a family member, or do you envision a roommate situation where everyone in that 3-bedroom might be visually impaired? What are the requirements, I guess?
Yeah, thank you. So right now the way it's designed is to have 85 single bedroom units and 9 2-bedroom units and 6 3-bedroom units. And the goal would be, is exactly you said, is there's some people who've become blind for whatever reason during midlife, and so they have children, and or they could very easily, if they have a roommate and they wanted to then use that 2-bedroom or the 3-bedroom unit. And we've contracted with Stout Management, who has had extensive experience in apartment management with both Opportunity Village at Betty's Village and other units, and so we'll work with them on how to work through the details.
Yes, I think that, I was just chatting with Councilman Creer too, if this Commissioner McCurdy's area.
Yes.
I think the sooner you can move forward, and I'm volunteering Councilman Creer to make that call and see if we can help accomplish this. We see so often things and facilities are used for storage when they are critical to a motion and a project that we have. So if you will stay in touch soon, and I will call him regularly to see if he's successful.
Thank you. We appreciate that sense of urgency.
No. We just, life is today, and we always plan for the future, but there's so many people out there that have issues that need this, and obviously, from a potential wait list, and just the opportunity there to have a full life and a whole life. So we are just really pleased. And if is there anybody, I don't remember if I closed public comment, but anyone who wants to comment on this? We'll close public comment now, and unless there's yes. You have one more, Councilwoman Diaz, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to understand why we went 85 single bedrooms and only 9 2-bedrooms, because I know that sometimes there are folks that become visually impaired because of, let's say, their diabetes was not kept under control. They had families, now they're visually impaired. So just trying to understand why the shift so 1-bedroom focused versus offering more 2-bedrooms, because we see that increasingly as a city, there is a need to house families and folks with support systems. So just wanted to understand the logic.
Yeah. Thank you. We did an extensive amount of research to ask our members, because there's between 15 to 20,000 people who live in the Metro Las Vegas area who are visually impaired or completely blind, and so the segment of that population that we're trying to serve are those who live below the extreme poverty level. So obviously there's 2 groups, and so the person who's a member of a family and they live in Summerlin or other areas where they have those family support systems in place, they aren't necessarily the ones who are looking to live here. And so So we, first of all, wanted to identify of those 300 people who applied, we wanted to look at a profile of who they were. So we've met with every one of them. We have an extensive list. We looked at what their situation was, how many family members they had, who they would want to live with, and so we took that information. Then we talked to Stout Management, who manages Opportunity Villages and other facilities, and asked them. And then we talked to other people in the community and said, you know, what is that proper ratio of apartments of single, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom? And that's really where we derive that number from. And yeah, that was the result of an extensive amount of research.
All right, I just hope that we keep an open mind as we hopefully further develop, as the mayor's saying, more housing opportunities. I feel like not everybody has been reached with the information about this new and upcoming project. Right. So there's so many other community members that probably haven't heard that may skew the need, right? So let's just kind of, I love that you've dug into the data of the first set of the people who were informed and already know about it, so much so that they're on the list, but I feel like there may be some unknowns still for us to identify.
I agree 100% with you, and that's the nice thing about the Phase 2 portion of this that we really intend to build is the Phase 2, and then we will then take all of that information, because by then this project will be well known throughout the community, and so then we can then make necessary modifications for our Phase 2 of the housing to adjust for that if need be.
I'm just saying, I'm a Latina and we're always big families, so anybody who has family that is blind or visually impaired, we come with a lot of other members, right?
Yeah, and we all appreciate, you know, the value of a family unit and what support is offered. And so that's why, again, you know, the people that are in a family unit where they have a supporting spouse and children, they aren't necessarily the ones who are looking to live here. But to your exact point, once it becomes more well-known, then we will we'll revisit that ratio number, and then when we build Phase 2, then we'll make that necessary adjustment. You know, the other day, just 2 weeks ago, I met a young man who was homeless and blind, and I just was awestruck. I was like, how can you be blind and having been homeless? And so there is a huge need in our community for not only people that are blind, but also who are in destitute situations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Councilman Creer, for your indulgence.
And certainly, too, I know Kathy Thomas from our courtyard, and so I know she's in touch with you.
Yes.
So make room.
Yeah, and may I say, Councilman Creer, we met with him last week, and he was, you know, so supportive and gave us an hour of his time to talk about this project in detail, and we were just so supportive of that, in addition to the $4 million that the city was first to give us for this project, because the first money into a project is the most difficult, and when the city showed trust and confidence in us, then it allowed us to then go raise the remaining $30 million for the project.
Well, I can assure you there's been the devotion of the council for the past 24 years that I know of. And we know that I'm amazed that we haven't been able to accomplish the rest of this. And I'm sure Councilman Creer will work on the county piece. We certainly would love to hear through him, too, about the Fraternal Order of Eagles. We know with the Elks, we find that generations that are part of the Elks, I'm sure we have those. And when you have them involved and see such a perfect need and resolve, will help move this forward. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Councilman Creer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One, I love this project. I think it's great. There's a need in our community. You guys are satisfying that need. Jeff, every nonprofit in the city needs someone as dedicated as you and committed as you to serve on their board, because you are doing this out of the goodness of your heart and really taking ownership of this. So thank you personally for all you're doing and your commitment towards the Blind Center and this particular project in general. And I think we got all of our questions out the way, so I'm just going to make a motion to approve item 59A, B, C, and D.
And E.
Oh, I turned it over wrong.
There's an E.
And E, yes. I thought I turned it over.
Thank you. There's a motion. I didn't turn it over either. Got to print smaller. Please vote and please post. Yours didn't go through.
Oh, yeah, I got to wait. There we go.
There it goes. There it goes.
Thank
So please do stay in close touch. I mean, seriously, I know it's
Yeah.
about the personal communications, the efforts, and just being relentlessly annoying.
Thank you.
So we want to join with you to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 60, which is 230092 GPA 1. Public hearing, applicant owner, City of Las Vegas, possible action, land use entitlement project request to amend and incorporate a supplemental recreation and open space element to the City of Las Vegas 2050 master plan consistent with section 11 of the ordinance 6788. This is in reference to all wards, and planning and staff happily join together in approval. So, look who's here.
Good.
Do you want to start? You have a clicker?
Yeah.
Nothing. There you are. Nope.
Next item.
Oh, we go backwards to 60.
Yep,
There.
Mayor Jim Lewis. Are we going to speak on 60 and 43? Yeah, I want to make.
So,
Yeah, you want me to keep going?
Mayor,
Okay,
actually,
43, I can.
Mayor, so they're not exactly companion items, so we'll do 60, and then if we can come back and open 43. The next two will be companion items when we get to it, but let me, it looks like we got it now, okay.
Very good.
And Mayor, I'll just introduce this since I'm up here, and I love a microphone. Seth Floyd for the record. I'm going to turn this over to Marco. This is the next step in implementing your 2050 master plan. Almost all the work that we do, our internal and our external functions, are in support of that master plan, and this is a very exciting step that we've been working on for several years now. So very excited. Steve Ford is also here to answer any questions if you have any at the end. Thanks.
And of course, Marco Vallada's been working on this, sleeping with it for the past how many years? Many. You can't even remember. See? There we go. All right, please. Thank you, Mr. Floyd. Please.
Sure. Good morning, Madam Mayor and council members. Marco Vallada, Planning Project Manager with the Department of Community Development, Comprehensive Planning Section. For the record, this item before you this morning is a general plan amendment to the 2050 master plan that will incorporate Imagine LV Parks, a recreation and open space element in conformance with NRS 278. Before beginning, I do want to acknowledge a couple people that were integral to the effort. Steve Ford, of course, Director of Parks and Recreation and Cultural Affairs. The Smith Group team, who has worked with us on the 2050 plan, as well as some of the special area plans that we have underway. And then Neelay Bhatt, who is now with Next Practice Partners, who sits in much of the plan's overall assessments, and he is our subject matter expert. In many rights, one of the experts on trends in parks and recreation, has worked with major sports leagues, and has worked across the country, Florida, Indiana, and really helped get a lot of the public outreach down and helped us understand and synthesize what was going on. So the 2050 plan does include several goals with respect to parks and park connectivity, but at a very high level. So concurrent work did take place with Parks and Recreation to specifically look at the future of park planning. And it does contain some high-level overarching goals, outcomes, and actions that understand, with the understanding that there's more specificity that would result in order to answer some short and long-term questions as to what the future of parks in Las Vegas is going to look like. The end result of this process is the park system plan as a supplement of the overall 2050 plan. And it continued on with internal and external stakeholder outreach and community engagement across the city, as well as specifically looking at individual wards and seeing what the needs were. It helped us identify recreational trends and ensure access and increases in overall park space, and identifies revenue opportunities and how we're going to address things like ongoing operations and maintenance. And it maintains consistency with the 2050 plan while developing additional specific strategies for the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Department. So as a part of the plan development, that outreach and analysis was conducted as we were adopting the 2050 plan, and beyond that, But it included a review of existing conditions of what our parks and community centers and facilities are like, and what the community thinks of these facilities themselves. We also took a close look at the general trends at both a local and national level, at both a 1-year and a 5-year time frame, and a couple of takeaways. Outdoor recreation was one of the themes that really came through. You know, we have Red Rock Canyon, we have Mount Charleston, we have the Lake Mead, the Desert National Wildlife Refuge right at our doorstep. And we can take advantage of these, especially these opportunities along the edge of our community, where we have plenty of opportunities to link housing developments, residential communities, master plan communities with those open spaces. So hiking, biking, getting outdoors, equestrian activities, and then getting into the Spring Mountains, you know, camping and overall enjoyment of the natural environment were one of the things that came out of that. General sports we were not surprised by some of the things that we saw with that. I mean, I think some of that might be a testament to team sport activities that are going on locally in the community, the Vegas Golden Knights, but as well as the Las Vegas Lights, the Aviators, very soon the A's. There's talk of NBA coming to town. All of those things have resulted in upticks in participation in general sports activities, whether soccer, basketball, football, those contact sports, as well as participation in racket sports. Pickleball is obviously one of those activities that a lot of people picked up on over the last couple of years. There's been a tremendous growth and demand in those types of facilities, as well as tennis and racquetball. So with those things in mind, it speaks to having the facilities for that demand, as well as having opportunities to play with other people who are participating as well. In terms of fitness, saw during the pandemic a major shift in things that were going on indoors, and people changed their habits. So Zumba, yoga, trail running, those types of activities, and doing things inside were some of the things that picked up in the years of the pandemic. We had strong public outreach throughout our meetings and surveys, and as a whole, most of our residents who visit our parks and recreation facilities, the overwhelming majority of them rate them well and in good condition. And that does vary by ward. The responses from wards 1, 3, and 5 were a little bit different from wards 2, 4, and 6. As you might expect, there are different amenities in different wards. But overall, there was high rates of satisfaction from individual parts of the city, as well as the city as a whole. The remaining part of public outreach concerned needs. What we heard in terms of general comments from the public and priorities for the future. And again, you can see the theme here in terms of priority items, outdoor recreation being one of them, having walking trails, having access to nature parks, gardens, having the ability to do things recreate outdoors, having picnics, having pavilions, and having shade, having all of those amenities available at current parks or at future ones. In terms of our recreation programs, the same thing. You see the similar themes. Focusing on the core offerings that the city already has, whether those are senior programs or adult fitness and exercise classes that we offer at our community center. So continuing on with those offerings at our facilities are things that we heard quite a bit about in public outreach. The remaining content of the plan does detail an assessment of the overall Parks and Recreational Department and the system overall, and opportunities to address both facilities and the programming of those facilities, as well as looking at how do we fill in gaps of service. Where do we have locations that are not served by a park or a community center, that are not accessible, or might need additional offerings that to make them to provide offerings that might not be there. So this map shows walking distances and driving distances to City of Las Vegas parks, as well as those in North Las Vegas and the county. And you see the darker shaded areas where are locations where we do have current gaps. Similarly, we have this map depicting community center locations, not only public community centers, but those that are provided by master plan communities such as Sky Canyon or Summerlin. And as you can see, wards 2, 4, 5, 6, there are some locations where we don't have facilities right now. With the parks, we have other locations in Summerlin where we might eventually see new development go in as part of that development, and other locations such as in wards 1 and ward 3 where we don't have a city park, but we may have to fill in at some point for that gap that is currently there. So with respect to making future investments, there are 4 main recommendations that this plan makes, is having these community centers in each individual neighborhood or part of town be that community anchor. Having those offerings for recreational amenities for people to enjoy and recreate, and make them that place for City of Las Vegas resources and activities. To connect them, we need to have a robust multimodal trail network and complete streets and highways to get people there. Having a capital improvement program that links different neighborhoods to those community centers as a neighborhood anchor ultimately falls into the realm of the master plan itself, and working with Public Works on making those connections and filling in those gaps. Provide new recreational offerings, but also make sure that we have those offerings that we continue that we have currently today, and making sure that in the future we're adapting to the needs of the community as those national and local trends change over time. And then for locations where we might not have the ability to purchase property for a public park, work on amendments to our zoning code, specifically our transit-oriented corridors like Charleston Boulevard, Decatur Boulevard, Maryland Parkway, to consider space for infill, where we might have a new innovative park type, or a zoning requirement that requires a certain amount of open space on site. That might help fill in the gaps in some of those areas that might be harder to put a park in. We have a number of projects at various stages of planning, design, and construction, and the plan details those and a number of future opportunities to pursue. And because outdoor recreation is an important theme in the plan, working with BLM and our federal partners will be crucial. SNPLMA has traditionally been that tool to get park funding for a lot of parks across the city. That has worked well, and as has been mentioned before, that is contingent upon land sales occurring currently and into the future. So with that in mind, SNPLMA can continue to be used to develop those future park sites, but leveraging other funding sources, whether that's federal, state, or local, might be a way to ultimately develop those short and long-term needs in the future. And then incorporate those opportunities for outdoor recreation, which is a part of the resolution that accompanies this plan, R29-2023, that again is relating to the outdoor recreation at the city's desert edge, making sure that we have that partnership with our federal partners, so we have access for those outdoor recreational opportunities that the public highlighted in public input. So therefore, I ask that the City Council consider and approve this general plan amendment and the associated resolution, R29-2023, and if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
And what are you doing about water?
Water. So as a part of this effort, parks and public spaces have been looked at specifically with respect to recent legislation that has been passed. And there are exemptions for parks and public spaces, provided that the turf there is used for recreational purposes. We are looking at, and approved in this upcoming budget for FY24 and beyond, capital improvement funding specifically to reduce non-functional turf in some of our parks where it just doesn't make sense, such as driveway entryways and things like that. We don't want to remove turf where people are actually out recreating, but there might be opportunities to take some turf that's just not doing anything, but there to have somebody mow the lawn, and that's it. Places where people will go picnic or go play, those would remain in place. If we have sports fields where it makes sense to make those conversions, we'll continue to do that. We've done quite a bit. That will overall reduce the city's operational costs and our overall water consumption. We've gotten pretty good at doing that, and with funding in these future years, as well as SNWA's rebates, we'll be able to reduce some of that non-functional turf as well.
Well, as you align replacement, repair, or whatever, and you look at all the parks, it would seem reasonable that they are prioritized as to the water preservation or whatever you want to call it. So it needs an overall assessment, and then how do you prioritize based on seniors? Do you prioritize based on children? Do you prioritize based on the sport or the activity or the school? I mean, there's so much there. And then we were just shocked at what happened with the water bill, having lived in the same place for 47 years with no change other than what's been ordered by the legislature and, of course, for conservation. So I think, which parks? I mean, as the town moves and expands and how much is coming, at some point, hopefully, it will be included as we look to 2050. And then what you're recommending, or your consultants or the team, whoever it is. Because I know we do get requests for fields that are not probably getting enough water. I mean, it's not the fault of anything, and we're going to have to get tighter in the belt on that. And so what is the prioritization and usage? And how do you know how many people are using? There's no check-in when you use a park. You just go there. So how do you do that to prioritize where the concentration for replacement comes? So it's just a question thrown out there. I just know it on a private level. Do you really have to look at every single park and who are you serving? And then in with this, because it's not going to change here in the Southwest, and especially with more and more people moving here. So it's great. You've just done, Marco, you've done a fabulous job, and Mr. Ford, your whole team, it's awesome. So at this point, what do you want me to do? Read in what now? Oh, questions first. Yes, please, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. And Marco, thanks for the presentation. I just had a couple of questions around how we tie this plan to our budgeting process. That would be the first question. The second question is around using the demographic data that we have and the projected demographic data. How nimble are we in changing activities based in parks and community centers to meet the needs of our population? The two hard questions to answer that don't have a perfect answer, and maybe Mr. Ford wants to jump in because he's sitting right there, and I would hate for him to be bored.
Yeah, Marco Vallada for the record, through the mayor to you, Councilman. I'll take the second part first, and then I'll let Steve jump in, as he's certainly the expert on that. But taking that demographic information, we can adapt certain facilities in certain locations based on what the activities were that we got out of them. And if we saw that there was a large uptick in basketball use in a certain part of town, or soccer, or and we had a lack or a deficiency of that type of facility or amenity, that's where we would make changes. Same thing with the community centers themselves and their offerings. If there's some things that really kind of jump out at certain parts of town, that's where the parks team would have to adjust and adapt their programming to those specific needs. So we have that information, and that's there for Parks and Rec to make use of.
Okay. Thank you. Steve Ford, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. A couple of things I'd like to address to you, Mayor, and to Council. First, I want to address your concerns about the water conservation. As Marco alluded to, we had, and it was basically through Marco's team and my team, put together a very comprehensive look at every single park we have. And each park is broken down into smaller, bite-sized areas. So, for example, Bob Baskin Park in Ward 1, there's the big grassy play area in the back. We're not expecting to do anything with that because people use that. They picnic, they throw frisbees, whatever they do. But there's some driveway grass that's not doing anything but looking green most of the time. That stuff is not being used for anything. So we are prioritizing on that type of stuff, what is being used and what is not being used. We're also looking at, working with Mr. Sherwood's team, looking at a solution that will tell us exactly what the information you're asking for. How many people are in our parks at any given time? There's some software solutions that will provide us with that information. And from there, we can prioritize. Yeah, maybe this area is not being as used as much as another area, and we can prioritize that way. So that was the question I wanted to address there. As far as the budgeting, Mayor Pro Tem, as I mentioned in council briefings, there are several different budgeting methods for this. And as I wanted to put out a priority for our parks, which is to maximize our use and maximize how we can program them and minimize our maintenance costs going forward. So if you recall, I mentioned doing all of our parks that are kind of halfway built right now and finishing those off before we build new parks. We are building some new parks. We received $29 million from BLM through the Stimplem project for the Northwest Regional Park in Ward 6 for that phase 1. So that's going to be a new park. Going forward, we're going to try to use not only that funding, other federal funding, and also our own CIP process to prioritize and get those needed amenities out there. The one graphic that was shown where we have holes, that's going to be a challenge because a lot of those holes where there's no parks or community centers are already built out. There's no place to build anything new. That's where we want to start looking at alternate arrangements, as Marco mentioned, on different types of parks we use. We may need to go to, we talked about abandoned or vacant big box stores that we could protect, perhaps purchase and turn into a community center, for example. I'm acquainted with one in Kansas City that was a big box store that was turned into an indoor sports park, and they have batting cages and, volleyball courts and all that kind of stuff. So those types of things are the things we need to look at over the next few years, how we fill in the holes and how do we make all of this stuff more accessible to the residents of the city. Hopefully that answers your question.
That answers my question. What one caveat to the question is for this specific plan and the plan amendment, how I'm interested in the demographics. So my only example is my own kids. So at Bob Baskin Park, we were there all the time when I had younger kids, and the entire neighborhood has kids about the same age, so it was an incredibly busy park. And then as my kids aged, I've noticed fewer and fewer kids playing on the playground. Are we nimble enough to change the use of the park based on the population surrounding?
I think to some extent we are, and the example I give to that is our roller hockey rinks. Back in the 90s, when we built a bunch of parks, there were a number of roller hockey rinks that were built at the time that over the years, they've not been as utilized as they were. It's not been as popular as it was in the past. And we have turned those in, as well as shuffleboard courts, into pickleball courts, which are much more useful right now. I think to some extent we can be nimble enough over the next 30 years to come up with those types of plans based on the usage, and if we can get that information, the demographic usage or the demographic information of that area, especially on the neighborhood parks, how many kids there are, all those types of things. I think we can be. I think it's a matter of prioritizing and a matter of prioritizing what you as members of the council want.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, excuse me, I'll add one more. Marco just reminded me the Becker Tech Park in Ward 5. When we were looking at repurposing that or redoing that, it was just going to be another park. And Councilman Creer wanted something different, and so we added the building and the technological piece. So that was something that was changed from the original plan. So I think that there is that potential to be changeable.
Thank you. Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say our Parks and Rec folks and our planning folks do an outstanding job to identify what we have currently in inventory and what we need to strive to be top tier. So I always appreciate you all. I just want you to know that count me in as a partner for advancing the needle, especially in Ward 3. My newly gained portion here is very dark. I don't like to see that there's very limited offerings, and I think maybe Councilman Knutson and I can put our heads together and see what ways we can partner, and also think about out-of-the-box ideas with development. So as development is also happening in certain places and spaces, how can we entice them to offer some of these trails, some of these amenities, some of these park offerings to help us fill in the gap. So I just want to sing you all praises. Thank you for helping us keep transforming our areas for the benefit of our communities.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I think where we are is I want to get in 43 and 44, and so all of this is a public hearing, so I don't want to close them and open them. I'm leaving it open. So, great report. Thank you, Mr. Bellett.
So, Mayor, Seth Fuller for the record. My suggestion, I think we can certainly accommodate that. Item number 60, though, is a general plan amendment that I think you'll need. I defer to Jim on this, but I think you'll want your own individual vote on that one. Then we can open 43, which is a companion resolution to this one, and then we can open 61 and 44 together and do one public hearing on that one.
Thank you very much. You just absolutely denied what I just said. So, this is a public hearing. Does anybody want to make any comments on agenda item 60? God, it's like being married to you. Sounds like home. Okay, no one here. I'm going to close the public hearing. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion on agenda item 60, please?
With gratitude for our amazing staff, I would move to approve item number 60.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote on agenda item 60. And please post. Thank you. Job well done. And continuing, you cannot get rid of this little 2050 plan. And now we will read in 43 alone.
43, yes, Mayor, and just like my wife, you called me right out for against what you said, so I appreciate that. But yes, 43 is a resolution that is a companion item, follow-up item from the Parks Agreement that you just approved.
And therefore, 61 will, with 44 included?
Correct, Mayor. 61 and 44 are totally different. Well, they're both related to the master plan, but totally different.
Okay, so we'll take 43. Resolution R29, 2023, discussion for possible action regarding a resolution adopting a plan for outdoor recreation along the desert edge of the city of Las Vegas. Do you wish to make a comment herein?
Yes, Mayor. So this one I think will be pretty quick. I will turn this back over to Marco if he wants to make any comments. But as a first step toward implementing the parks element of the master plan that you just adopted, one thing that we have been working on in planning for a little while now in coordination with a variety of partners, including the BLM, who is doing a pretty massive effort to plan for the future of the northern portion of the Red Rock Conservation Area. We have also been thinking about what to do along our north and western boundaries that still does have some undeveloped land. Sky Canyon, there's parts of Ward 4 and 6, and a little bit of Ward 2 as well. that isn't developed yet, and thinking ahead about what that's going to look like, and also trying to provide additional recreational opportunities. Our master plan and the parks plan did identify outdoor recreation, and I think this was accelerated even more by the pandemic. Folks were getting outside. The Red Rock Loop, if you've tried to go out there, now you have to make reservations. There's a lot more people getting out, mountain biking, hiking, bird watching, all of those things. And so we want to make sure that we're prepared to capture those activities as we develop along our north and western boundaries. And so this resolution would serve that purpose and identify a council priority of looking ahead toward providing those opportunities as we develop those areas. And I don't know if Marco wants to add anything to that, but otherwise I would just ask for your support on that resolution to give staff that direction.
Do I need comment from the public on this one?
I don't believe this was a public hearing, Mayor, but if you wanted to hear from the public, I think that's certainly
Why
okay. I'll
not?
defer to Jim.
Does anybody from the public wish to make comment on agenda item 53? Then we've covered all our bases. I will close public hearing, and therefore...
43. 43, Mayor.
43, excuse me, and therefore I will entertain a motion, if I might, Mayor Pro Tem.
Madam Mayor, move to approve item 43.
Thank you. There's motion on agenda item 43. Please vote and please post. That motion carries, and now 61. Okay, item 44 is R-302023, discussion for possible action to approve a resolution adopting the Nuestro Futuro Este Las Vegas Special Area Plan for East Las Vegas area. And item 61 is 230094 DIR1. Public hearing, applicant owner, City of Las Vegas, discussion for possible action adopting the Nuestro Futuro Este Las Vegas Special Area Plan for the East Las Vegas area in Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz. Staff recommends approval of item 44. Planning Commission and staff recommend approval of item 61. Item 61 is a public hearing which I declare open.
Thank you, Mayor. Seth Floyd for the record. So, Mayor, I'm also going to turn these items over to Marco, as he's been our lead in community development on these items.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. I realize I stand between you and lunch here, so I'll go through this briefly, but do it justice. Again, for the record, Marco Vallada, Planning Project Manager with the City of Las Vegas Department of Community Development's Comprehensive Planning section, and this item concerns the adoption of the Nuestro Futuro Este Las Vegas Special Area Plan and connected resolution on item 44. Similar to the Parks Plan, I do want to acknowledge a couple members of the community, the community itself, for helping shape and form this plan, as well as the departments of the Office of Neighborhood Services, the Department of Neighborhood Services, and Kathy Thomas's team, Public Works, Economic and Urban Development. Our plan would not be possible without Smith Group, as well as Erica Aviles, who is here today. Her consulting team did a phenomenal job on the public outreach components. Jamie Gillis, who is with Centro, she has worked on the NERSA portion of the plan, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. And then Councilwoman Diaz and her staff, they were all instrumental in shaping this portion of the 2050 plan, this specific one for East Las Vegas. So, as with the previous item, the 2050 plan's land use chapter provides the demographic and socioeconomic data to formulate high-level goals within specific parts of the city. We didn't necessarily get into the specifics in the 2050 plan, but the idea was that for each part of the city, we'd work with members of the community to understand from them how they wanted to shape their future, and how they wanted to see the 2050 as a whole guide and provide us direction as to what it looks like over the long term. Fortunately, we have we have a little bit of a template for doing this. We previously adopted the downtown Las Vegas plan, and East Las Vegas is the first plan done since the 2050 plan's adoption. So, going forward here, we do a similar process with all the other parts of the city incrementally to get that community input and buy-in to help create a sense of place and identity and work on strategies to implement the overarching 2050 plan as a whole. We started with East Las Vegas for a couple of reasons, and we knew from the 2050 plan that there were a lot of upcoming opportunities in terms of federal funding, and it made a great template for other plans that we were going to be doing. There's a lot of good opportunities for infill, redevelopment, test some ideas from outside of downtown, and just work with that general framework. And in addition, we have a lot of major projects that are going on concurrently, including from the infrastructure bill and the Inflation Reduction Act. So the end result of all of that is of those efforts is Nuestro Futuro Este Las Vegas, our future East Las Vegas. And that takes the vision of the 2050 plan and brings it down to the neighborhood level. So going from 10,000 feet down to the street. And we strive to make it as accessible to the community as possible and to make it a tool and guide for project implementation. We did something very unique and specific this time around. We made sure that the plan in its pretty much in its entirety is both in English and in Spanish. So you'll see Spanish throughout, translated from the contents. The plan begins with a community profile, and we took a look at the overarching demographics and socioeconomics. You know, 3/4 of the population in East Las Vegas is Latino or Hispanic. The housing tenure is a lot different from other parts of town. They're majority renters. The education levels are markedly different from other parts of town. And all of these things we heard about as we did community outreach. There were similar concerns about having park access, having to get to work, and what modes of transportation people were using to get to work. This is an area in some that has seen a lot of change over its history. And we've seen that, and we'll continue to see that happen in the future. Because those residents are, because the residents are majority Latino, we did a lot of public outreach with Erica Vilas Consulting, and did a lot of the outreach in Spanish and in English, and went out into the community. We made sure that we got input from the public, from elected staff, from community officials and community stakeholders to hear what the values are for the future and ultimately come up with a shared community vision that East Las Vegas, following in suit with the 2050 plan, is going to be a resilient, healthy community with equitable access to services, education, and jobs. The engagement itself was fairly extensive. It took place about a year ago, lasted about 6 months or so, and included special events put on by the city, specific outreach at community locations like grocery stores, Cashman Field, the malls out in Clark County. We had an advisory stakeholder committee of community members recommended from the councilwoman and her staff, and leaders from the community that weighed in on what they saw the future of Las Vegas to be. From that outreach, the entire team synthesized everything into 5 big ideas, and this is similar to how the downtown Las Vegas master plan is constructed. We wanted to see a number of implementation strategies come together into the overall bulk of the plan itself. But they are to commit to health and public safety, making sure that East Las Vegas is a safe place to live and to work and to visit, that it is a green part of Las Vegas, where trees and parks are found, and a lot of the old vegetation that has died off is replaced. That there's investments in the public realm, work on public infrastructure, streets, transit projects, pedestrian rights of way, things to that effect. Creating a sense of place with mixed-use hubs, working with transit-oriented land uses and making neighborhoods built to the human scale, making them accessible to a variety of different modes, and making sure that work is available within the community itself. And then empower entrepreneurs, making sure that there are economic development opportunities available for small businesses and for people that are entrepreneurial. As you can see from this pretty list, the ideas that we heard from the community itself have a number of applications that are discussed in the chapters entitled Live, Work, Play, and Invest. And while that's not an exhaustive list, this exemplifies the types of policies, projects, or investments that the city or the community at large can take away from and to help achieve the overall vision for East Las Vegas. The idea is that these are developed and worked on a regular basis, either through the city and at our traditional processes of budgeting, or working with city departments, or providing a guide to help implement or pursue grants or secure funding, and so forth. To give an idea on some specific project recommendations that are within the plan and those that Live, Work, Play, Invest chapters, the first one is the Neighborhood Revitalization Strategy area. This is the one we're working with Jamie Gillis and Kathy Thomas's team on. But really, it looks at a specific HUD-defined area around Eastern Avenue, Charleston Boulevard, and Fremont Street, in which investment in affordable housing and improvements to the public realm will help improve the overall neighborhood itself, making sure that it is a safe place to live and work. And this is tied again to some of the HUD-driven initiatives that and funding opportunities that will be available in the future. In terms of making East Las Vegas a greener place, we have the upcoming Arroyo Vista Park, as well as some trail improvements along the Las Vegas Wash that are under construction or under design right now, together with the East Las Vegas Family Park, the East Las Vegas Legacy Park, and other future parks and recreational opportunities. These exemplify ways that we can make East Las Vegas a greener place. Similarly, the tree canopy in East Las Vegas is among the oldest outside of downtown. It's also where the urban heat island effect is the most pronounced. At Eastern and Bonanza Road, we have a convergence of different factors, including income, demographics, as well as temperatures themselves. There's a lot of asphalt, concrete, and glass. And because it's on the east side of town and we have Frenchman Mountain immediately to the east, it's also a trap for ozone. So air quality findings are markedly different in East Las Vegas than others. So we've been working quite a bit on tree canopy planting, and we've done plantings at Freedom Park and have an upcoming program that will help fund tree canopy, the tree canopy as well. We have a grant that we applied for through the Inflation Reduction Act specifically for community urban forestry. There's been an identification of how we make sure that people know they're in East Las Vegas, and one of the recommendations from the Smith Group is to continue on with signage and wayfinding in a way that's been similarly implemented in other parts of town, but really leveraging the public art opportunities and making ways to identify when you come into the city of Las Vegas itself, and specifically into East Las Vegas. There was a recent award that was made to the city for Stewart Avenue to include a cycle track and bicycle and pedestrian improvements along Stewart Avenue from Nellis Boulevard into downtown. That project, again, exemplifies that commitment of public funding into improving multimodal connectivity and making sure that there's different modes of transportation and different transportation options available to the residents on the east side, as well as those that live further east in the county itself. As with Stewart, we have recommendations for Bonanza Road, and a way to make Bonanza a truly transformational street and make it the main street of East Las Vegas. How can we redesign Bonanza to be a similar corridor that moves people by transit, moves people by cars, as well as by walking and biking. We had a study that was completed by NDOT that included a number of public safety recommendations and improvements, and some design concepts that were provided through Atkins. That overall study helped us provide some additional recommendations on how we could make a redesign of the Bonanza Road corridor in the future. At some point in the future, the I-515 viaduct will look a lot different. The Downtown Access Project has been under discussion for a couple of years now, but this is one of those projects that it's a vital corridor, not just for Las Vegas, but for the entire American West, connecting Mexico all the way up to Canada. And this corridor, is vital for moving goods, for moving people, but it is also an older piece of infrastructure, and seismic retrofits that were recently completed are, only an interim measure. The Downtown Access Project is something that is a necessity, but how we go about implementing it is something that we have to work with NDOT on, who obviously has control of the facility, but we can work specifically with Public Works on the design features and how that project ultimately is constructed. And then finally is the Desert Pines neighborhood. We've had a couple discussions and council items on this over the past year, but this project was an early recommendation and had a vision plan that came from Smith Group as a part of a previously adopted council resolution. But reimagining Desert Pines from a golf course use that the city of Las Vegas owns and transforming it into a neighborhood with all the amenities, making sure that there's affordable housing and market rate housing, making sure that there's educational opportunities in the form of a training center, mixed use commercial activities, a trail and public park, community center. Those are the types of amenities that were talked about in that vision plan and as part of East Las Vegas. And right now we're going through a project with the team, McCormick, Barrett, and Salazar, to come up with the ultimate concepts on this. So this is conceptual, but at the end of the day, these are the types of projects and many others that help make up the East Las Vegas, the Nuestro Futuro Special Area Plan. These plans have proven useful for purposes like this, as well as a pathway for federal funding opportunities, and ultimately achieve the larger vision of the 2050 plan. And with that, we would request that the council adopt this plan and the corresponding resolution, R30/2023, and if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
I wish you had a magic wand. Where is this?
So this is a conceptual rendering of Desert Pines. This is from the vision plan, again, just to illustrate what
it could be. You didn't go fly over some other city that's already done it, and there it is.
Right.
Because the only thing, as we go through all of this and we're talking about public parks and everything, I keep thinking about the people that use it, and I think of job training sites and satellites and colleges, satellites, pieces, public hospitals, union apprenticeship programs and things that can integrate into these neighborhoods as they're part of it, because the jobs is so much a part of life and their training. So, this is the physical structure and everything, and it's beautiful. And as I said, I wish it were raining money, which it was doing in 2004. It was dribbling from the skies. I wish I had it, and that you could just make it all happen. But it's wonderful. It's a fabulous plan, and just will continue to grow and change, especially as we look at the older neighborhoods with old trees and broken pipes underneath that all need to be replaced so you can preserve those old trees. I remember Councilwoman Tarkanian always, when any tree was cut down to make way for something new, what a tragedy. So just hopefully, but I know those are on old cast iron pipes that rust, and then you get the leakage, and we got more water problems. So this is very exciting. I'm sure council is equally excited about it. This is a public hearing. Come up and say something. Nobody. Closing public hearing. So in order to accommodate this, let's go ahead and let me go to Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, I just want to articulate the thank yous to the entire team, because this was truly a team and community effort. Marco Vallada, Mike Howe from our planning department, even Rachel Lewison, Erica Aviles, the Smith Group. They've just been so dynamic and amazing. Jamie Gellis, our neighborhood services team. Like, there's been so many folks that have banded with us, but a special thanks to all the community stakeholders who actually live and reside in East Las Vegas and helped us shape this plan. I really wanted to be intentional. I wanted to be thoughtful. I wanted to make sure we were reaching out to our people to make sure that we were moving the needle in ways that our community would be they would approve the ways that we want to change for the better. Everything is always for the better. I just want to articulate some of my demographics of this area. Largest age group, 25 to 34 years of age. Median household income, $32,224. Housing tenure, 63.2% renting. Attained high school diploma, 57.6%. Attained bachelor's degree, 4.8%. So, Madam Mayor, my heart is truly, I'm still an educator at heart, but a city council person now in this position, truly wanting to advance our communities. Every single person deserves opportunity. Every single person deserves access to a pathway to economic prosperity. And the way we get it done is by all of us coalescing and really being thoughtful, intentional, and doing things by design because we see the need. And so just even the opportunity to apply for a federal grant to bring an education and employment facility to East Las Vegas. This is the why. So we really dug deep, we identified the whys, and we're really trying to lead transformational change for all communities, especially in this part of my ward. And so I'm just tickled beyond. You guys have truly done everything. When I got to the seat, Kathy and I had conversations in my office. She's like, Councilwoman, we can develop a plan for you. If there isn't one, we can get there. And so I just feel so much better knowing that now we have something that can help all of us row in the same direction and get things done for the betterment of communities. So with that being said, I'd love to make the motion to adopt the resolution, agenda item 44 on our agenda
So let's start with 61.
61. Okay, 61. Okay.
There's a motion
So we'll
to approve agenda
61.
61. Any other comment to make to that? That's cool. Please vote and please post.
And now I'll make the move, or the motion to
44.
move agenda item 44, which is the resolution to adopt the Nuestro Futuro Este de Las Vegas, or It's Our Future East Las Vegas plan.
Please. Okay. Please vote and please post. And that motion unanimously carries, and I think Mr. Ford's going to, at least with supervisory approval coming from Mr. Savante, give you at least 6 months off for this chef d'oeuvre you've created. Thank you. Thank you. Where did Steve go? And team, all of you. Wonderful. Okay. You did a great presentation, too. And so now we'll move on to 62, correct? And I am asking you, the city clerk, to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the city planning commission meetings and dangerous buildings, nuisance litter abatements.
Yes, ma'am, I will do, but we also have a correction to the agenda.
Okay.
Under advice from legal counsel, on today's agenda, item 32, there was a typo. The contract number was misidentified as 23.MWA959-SK, and it should be corrected to be 23-MWA949-SK.
Good eye, whoever saw that. Way to go. Great. Do we need to vote on that? Okay, thank you. Okay, so now here we are in our second and final citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the city council. No subject may be acted upon by the city council unless the subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion, any single speaker, and any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speakers allowed may be limited. It's your opportunity to address council, but council will not respond or engage in dialogue. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? We will set the time at 3 minutes.
Special Council's, Councilman Greer's assistant came over and said I should have shown you this picture. And so I'm doing as I've been, you can just see the...
Wow.
So this is...
This is the design
yes,
of
this
the
is Visions
project.
Park, yes.
Beautiful.
So Councilman Greer, will you let her know that I listened and did what I was told?
Can you say your name for the record? Excuse me, sir. Sir, can you say your name for the record?
I'm sorry?
Can you say your name for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeff Davis, 1621 Brock Court, Blind Center Board Member. Thank you.
And you are accompanied by?
Evander Davis, 651 Midnight Street, in behalf of the Blind Center.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, this is, are you happy, Councilman Creer?
Yeah,
is that
great.
a
It's an amazing
beautiful
project.
building? Beautiful project. Thank you so much.
We just wanted to thank you all for everything you've done for us, especially you, Mayor. You've always been behind the Blind Center from the time I've known about the Blind Center. Back in 1986, you, your husband, and previous council members. So we'd like to thank you guys so much for helping us to grow from what we were to what we are now.
It's only going to get bigger and better. I guarantee you have a council here that is just as passionate as my family's been, and know that it's an exciting time. We look to the future. And Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Councilwoman Bruni.
Hi, I just, Evander, this is Nancy Bruni. We sit on the Regional Transportation Access Advisory Committee. I think we've been on there together probably 6 or 7 years, but I just wanted to thank you for always being at the meetings and being a great advocate, and then again, showing up today. So thank you for your advocacy in the community, and we look forward to working with you and the Blind Center on this project.
Definitely. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, anyone else wishing to come down under public comment? I do have Michael Mitovich, your card. Here we go, thank you. Good afternoon or morning.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. Thank you for the chance to speak today. Michael Miatovich for the record. I just wanted to come today to talk a little more just about random acts of violence and mass shootings that we're having right now. It just seems to be going on so constantly. I think really it's just the mental health crisis, I think, is a very big play in that. I feel as if we need to educate people to be more compassionate, more caring, more friendly, and not so rough and demanding and mean and vicious. We need to get rid of that sort of activity, that sort of behavior. I mean, it happens when people are young. They're bullied in elementary school or middle school, and a lot of the times these mass shootings, especially when it comes to school shootings, a lot of the people who have been the shooters were in over 60-something% of cases were traumatized when they were children. They were abused by parents or just other sorts of things that could affect their lives in terrible ways. And I feel that's had a major impact on a lot of these events and the way they've been happening. So I feel we need to bring more awareness to people all around just about personal responsibility, but also about mental health and awareness, realizing that every person is special and no person deserves to be just tossed aside. We have to be more effective in how we teach these messages to people all around us, not just young people, but older people as well, because if we can't figure out a way to be able to address this in the most sensible of reasons, then we're just going to be lost and we're not going to be able to help each other. We're just going to continue to have the same problems year after year. They're going to be getting bigger and worse, more deadly, and more frightening, and just devastating beyond all degree. And we have to be able to look at ourselves and look at the responsibility we have as people in order to enhance our lives and enhance the lives of others, and to realize that we need to work together to solve this by every means, and that could just be by being a good, caring person who's kind to others, who isn't mean or vicious, and learning from your mistakes and not repeating them, but also not getting involved with violence or bullying or any of that, because bullying, that could lead up to people who become shooters later on, and the people who are bullies would have to be responsible for that, but they don't get charged. Well, we need to just have responsibility and better way of ethics and a better effort to approach this situation. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to make comment during this public comment time?
Hello there. Hi. Sean Vincent Cross is my name, and that was a very good speech, by the way, which leads into what I actually have to say is effective countermeasures toward rapid increase of strategic use of sonic weapons. So that's weapons using any sort of sound, nuisance, damaging to a person's hearing, and even to your body. Photonic weapons, light, lasers, things like that. Seeing a lot more of that happening around. I know it's Las Vegas, there's a lot of flashing lights, things like that, but that's something to look into for sure. Big one here, kind of a gray area, witchcraft. And that's kind of like calling your car a horseless carriage, because witchcraft is pretty 1800s, but nonetheless, it's a lot more advanced. People are using a lot more things like that. The gentleman there, he was talking about bullying. You can get into advanced methods of that, but it's more psychological, technological, and this is meant to open the conversation towards protecting ourselves, protecting others, and recognizing things before they get out of control. Any questions? Comments, concerns?
It's public comment. The council does not engage in public comment on the first or this last closing. But thank you.
Right on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Peace, love, happiness.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I will close agenda item 63, which is our public council, and now we'll go on to emerging issues council. Emerging issues, discussion regarding potential items for future city council agendas. All wards, any discussion must be limited to whether or not such proposed items should be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any such proposed topic shall occur. No action shall be taken. Do any members of council have topics they would like to discuss? July 19th looks good. Thank you very much. There are none. So now we will go, this is really bending my memory here. This is our council member recognition. I think we started on the middle of both sides. So we're back to the conventional. Let's start with you, Councilwoman Polensky, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First, I'd like to welcome a new team member to our Ward 4 staff, Samantha Bivens. She brings years of government experience and work with veterans in Nevada. She's a Gold Star spouse and a very proud Blue Star parent. I'm grateful she's chosen the Ward 4 team to dedicate her talents. Welcome, Samantha. I'd also like to give a big shout out to Erin Sebelius in marketing for her diligent work rebranding our PowerPoint slides and material for our office. They all look great. Yeah. Next, on June 6th, Chief Potts came to my office and presented me with a book, Making It Better in Las Vegas. This book is great for building relationships between officers and school-age children in the community and provides safety tips for parents and kids. Next, Nevada Child Seekers' mission is to advocate for and engage in prevention, identification, and location efforts on behalf of missing and exploited children. Please take a look at these currently missing children, and if you have any information, please reach out to LVPD's Missing Person Detail at 702-828-3116. I'm glad to report there are only 2. I've shown as many as 6 at one time. How about our Golden Knights? This organization has been a true asset to our community, and we are proud of the fantastic way they represent our great city. Congratulations to the team and their Stanley Cup championship. I was honored to attend the 2023 annual commendation ceremony on the DPS annual commendation ceremony on June 8th, where I was fortunate to meet with several officers who exemplified what it means to be true community servants. This year, there was a tie for Officer of the Year. Congratulations to Officer Robert Knight and Andy Vasquez. These awards are well-deserved, and I look forward to attending this event in years to come. Next, the 4th of July is right around the corner, and Councilwoman Bruni and I have partnered up for a great show at Floyd Lamb Park, 6 p.m. on the 4th. This event, which the whole family can attend, is the only fireworks display in the state that features synchronized music with fireworks. There will also be a DJ and water slide for the kids. We look forward to a huge turnout as with years past, so bring your families for a fun night. And lastly, next, please stay connected with us. If you want to know what's going on in Ward 4, please give us a call or contact us on any of these handles listed on the slide. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Let's go on right on down. Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On June 14th, the mayor and I had the pleasure of being at the ribbon cutting of a new business in Ward 3 in the Arts District. So we were welcoming Houston's Hot Chicken to the Arts District. The restaurant includes a hip dining room, a classy bar influenced by the building's 1940 ethos. And I have no doubt that the eatery will become a popular hangout for visitors and locals alike. And awesome kudos to our team for planning the moment that we cut the ribbon with the confetti tossing. It just all happened so beautifully. On June 14th, we also skedoodled onto the Las Vegas PBS building. It's not in the city. There's so many comprehensive services that are offered to our community. They not only have production studios, but they offer many educational resources for families with special needs kids, for teachers, for families, for anyone who needs these. They can go and check out their inventory of things for free. Also, they have a strong workforce space, and did you all know that Vegas PBS offers classes in over 370 career programs and 1,000 short-term and safety and compliance courses that help members of our Southern Nevada community find a path for fulfilling careers. So they were very complimentary and laudatory that we're supporting the work to get a lot of our folks these credentials and these classes for upward mobility in terms of workforce. So if you all need more information, please contact Vegas PBS at 702-799-0031 or go online, workforceeducationvegaspbs.org. We, on June 15th, Councilman Creer and myself were at the Strat for the swim and social ribbon cutting. It was awesome to celebrate the complete remodel of that pool, and it looks just absolutely amazing, but we need to work on our beach bodies, Councilman Creer, because let me tell you, those performers looked kind of stellar in their swimsuits, and we're just not quite there with all the work here at the city. So just know that this pool counts on weekend DJs, poolside games, stunning views all around to make it a sun-drenched, family-friendly haven where guests can turn up the heat in the spacious pool or just chill under an umbrella or rent out a cabana. June 17th, it was a very busy Saturday. I started the day with the National Chaplain Association of the U.S. They had a congress and conference for emergencies, disasters, security, and protection. And it was just amazing to see all of the local faith-based leaders, especially Latino pastors, who brought their folks to be certified and to know, a lot about the FEMA trainings that are offered. We had Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Mayra Morfin from our downtown area command there, and we even had attendees that came from Spain, Portugal, and Chile to just kind of have this conference and just share best practices in times of crises. So always so thankful for all of our communities wanting to step up in times of crises. Also, after that, I went on down to the Carlos Martinez and Dario Hall Pool, located on Pecos in Washington. We received about 300 community members during our 2-hour freebie for our summer splash, and we were able to give out ice popsicles, raffle prizes, and they all enjoyed the fun music. Special thank you to our special events team for their amazing support at this very popular event. And then from there, we also went to, staying on the same slide, sorry, we went to Baker Park, so the Baker Pool. So the Baker Pool also had about 100 attendees from 2 to 4 on the same day. And needless to say, I was a little wiped out from being in the heat for 4 hours, but we made it. Just want to put a reminder out for Django Vegas Jazz Festival coming up June 24th, 6 p.m. at our historic 5th Street School. So remember, it's the legendary Tommy Emmanuel, the electric and eclectic Brad Bros and his Bad Bros Band, and the local favorites, the Hot Club of Las Vegas. So don't miss this annual musical celebration that pays tribute to the roots of jazz. Get your tickets at www.lasvegasnevada.gov/residents/events /. Last but not least, we want to put a plug in for our Las Vegas Fire and Rescue team, who is now recruiting firefighter explorers. So for those of you between the ages of 15 and a half and 25 years of age, if you're interested in becoming a firefighter, this is an opportunity you cannot miss. Attend all 3 upcoming meetings to be eligible for acceptance to the Firefighter Explorer program. These are the dates: July 9th for orientation day, July 16th for the written test, July 23rd for oral interviews. All meetings will be held at the Cashman Complex, located 850 North Las Vegas Boulevard. And that's all I have, Mayor. Please stay in touch with me at Olivia Diaz LV on social media channels. You can always subscribe to our newsletter, call our office, 702-229-2359, or email us at ward3@lasvegasnevada.gov. Go Knights. We're so happy you're the champions, and happy Father's. I hope everyone had a lovely Father's Day this past weekend.
Beautiful. Thank you. Councilman Knudsen, what did I call you before?
Knudy.
Go for it.
You can call me whatever you like, Mayor. Today is summer solstice, which is summer solstice. This is the longest day of the year. My children tried to stay up late the last week, and I can still trick them by shutting the blinds. So I think this is the last year of being able to do that. I'm going to enjoy it. And let's see. Brews with Brian is on June 22nd from 5:30 to 6:30. This is at the Tavern at 1113 South Rainbow Boulevard. If you haven't been there, it's a locally owned business. He just bought it. It's a great little tavern. He's doing a great job. And as always, Mayor, you can reach out to me any way anybody wants to. Text, call, or email on the next slide. And that's all I got. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Creer.
Thank you. We had a spectacular time celebrating Juneteenth this past weekend. We started at the Discovery Children's Museum, and on Saturday, on Friday, we were at the Victory Missionary Baptist Church with the Metro, the West Las Vegas Library, and finally made our way to the Juneteenth Festival at the Ward Market Expo Center. This event has really grown over the years, and I have to thank World Market Center, I have to thank Rainbow Dreams Academy Foundation, Diane Pollard. Thank you, Mayor, for coming out, Congressman Horser for attending. Really, really great event, and I can't wait for next year. On Saturday, June 10th, we hosted the very, very cool Ward 5 inaugural youth golf experience at the Las Vegas Golf Club, aka Muni, for those of us that have been here for a while. I want to thank the UNLV PGA University Program, Southern Nevada Junior Golf Association, and the Southern Nevada Golf Association. We had professionals from all over the city, Las Vegas Country Club and Anthem and TPC, teaching our kids. We had about 40 kids who were out. It was great. We had LPGA golfer Avis Brown Riley speaking with us and also working with our kids. Just a great, great, great event. Have to thank our special events team, especially Christy Garnis, for all that she's done. My goodness, she seems to be every single where. Juneteenth golf experience. Even our next event we had, we went to Zion National Park. We took 3 buses of youth throughout the city to Zion National Park on Thursday, June the 6th. The youth had an opportunity to enjoy lunch, explore many wonders of the park while hiking with park rangers. Park rangers are great. They gave a huge explanation of the park, the power of national parks. This trip is inspired by Barack Obama's Every Kid in the Park to ensure all Americans have the opportunity to experience the great outdoors. And according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, women outlive men in the United States by nearly 6 years. Diseases, including heart disease, cancer, we also have hypertension. Throughout June, during Men's Health Month, the Southern Nevada Health District reminds men to take charge of their overall health by implementing health-centered decisions. SNHD Operation Southern Nevada Community Health Center. For information, please contact them, www.snchc.org, for more info. My office is always available. You can please subscribe to our newsletter. You can contact us 702-229-5443. You can email Tanya at tjackson, Las Vegas, Nevada. Always find us on social, Twitter at Cedric Career, Instagram, Councilman Cedric Career, Facebook, Councilman Cedric Career. Thank you.
How was Father's Day?
Father's Day was excelente.
Okay, just want to make sure. Councilwoman Seaman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I was honored to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony in Ward 2 of the new Crevetti Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Center. There I presented Michael Crevetti Jr. and Scott Goldstein with proclamations for their continued commitment to bringing quality development into Ward 2. And then I attended the Shiro Shield Education Program launched by Bia Shiro Foundation in Ward 2 at our wonderful Chinglish restaurant. Their dedication to preventing human trafficking through education is commendable. Then I attended another ribbon-cutting ceremony for Taste of Asia, another great restaurant that just opened at the Suncoast in Ward 2. This women-owned business has exquisite food, and I wish them great success. Then I hosted a human traffic awareness event at City Hall. Nevada consistently ranks in the top 3 for reported cases of human trafficking. We are not proud of these statistics. Awareness is the key to better understanding the problem and learning strategies to fight against it. And we have great organizations and a great metro with our Las Vegas Metro division that is really, really working hard to eradicate this in the city. Now for our adoptable pets, we have Roxy, an adorable female dog that is 13 years old. She is looking for a forever home. If you want to adopt Roxy, please call the Nevada SPCA. And then we have Moonlight, a handsome male cat that is 1 year old. Moonlight is looking for a forever home. So if you want to adopt these or any other wonderful animals they have, please call them at 702-873-7722 or email them at info@nevadaspca.org. And it's my understanding you can just walk in over there too during their hours, and they'll be happy to show you their facilities and their animals. If you own a small business and want to get the word out, be a part of our free promotional Small Business Saturday program, where we will spotlight your company on my social media channels. And all you have to do is reach out to my staff, my team at 702-229-2420, or you can email them at ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov. My favorite semi-annual event, Art in the Park, is right around the corner. It's going to be at, well, I skipped one over. Let's start with the first one. Please join us at Veterans Memorial Community Center on June 28th from 6:30 to 8 for our Public Safety Town Hall with Sheriff McMahill. We will discuss important safety tips and refreshments will be served. And then our next Breakfast Buzz in Ward 2 Biz will be held on July 15th from 9 to 10 at Veterans Memorial Community Center. This is a great time to share what neighborhood issues are essential to you. We highly encourage you to RSVP so we have enough breakfast for everyone. And then back to my favorite semi-annual event, the Art in the Park is around the corner. It's going to be at Bruce Trent Park September 30th. But we are advertising early because if you are an artist, we would love you to get a booth ahead of time. So all you have to do this or RSVP to any of our events is ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov, or you can call my office at 702-229-2420. You can use the same information if you need to contact us for any issues and concern. You can email or call that same number. You can also, next slide, please. You can also follow my social media to stay up to date with information and events that are taking place in Ward 2. So you can follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Victoria D. Seaman, or on LinkedIn at Victoria Seaman. Or you can scan the QR code to access all the contact information to make it easy. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bruni.
Last but not least, thank you, Mayor. I want to begin by thanking everyone who participated in today's meeting with your thoughtful contributions. Again, it was an honor to recognize Boys Town, Nevada at today's City Council meeting. I totally screwed up and forgot to read the proclamation, but just so everyone knows, we did proclaim June 21st as Boys Town, Nevada Day. Boys Town, Nevada has provided over 30 years of service in our community and serves more than 55,000 children and families each year, and they're doing a great job building stronger, healthier families. Thank you to John Etzel, the Executive Director of Boys Town, Nevada, their Board of Directors, and their amazing staff that keeps this much-needed organization running. And I'm super proud that John Etzel and his beautiful family actually call Ward 6 their home. We had a busy Saturday on June 10th at Floyd Lamb Park for 2 events, our annual Fishing Derby Day and a park cleanup. The Fishing Derby Day was a success, and our winners, one of whom is pictured here on the left, were all under the age of 14. So we've got some amazing young fishermen and women in Las Vegas. A big thank you to Boy Scout Troop 430 for offering pancakes for breakfast, and to Rick Johnson with the Southern Nevada Building Trades Union for handing out dozens of free fishing poles to our community residents for our free fishing day. Get Outdoors Nevada also helped us with their last park cleanup of the season. More than 60 volunteers turned out to help us keep our beautiful park clean. We are so grateful to Get Outdoors Nevada for their continued partnership with the City of Las Vegas. Yesterday, hot off the press, we broke ground on 2 new pickleball courts at Centennial Hills Park that are expected to open later this year. Having pickleball courts in Ward 6 has been a recurring theme among our neighbors who participate in our monthly Bocaditos with Bruni. So I'm happy that our amazing Parks and Recreation Department has helped make this happen. Thank you, Steve Ford, and your amazing team. Our focus of this month is traffic safety, and I wanted to take a moment to share the excellent resources that our city has to offer. If you see malfunctioning or dark streetlights, or want to request the installation of speed bumps or traffic signals, the Transportation Division is here to help. Please email transportation@cityoflasvegas.gov. Neighbors can also use the C-Click Fix app, an app you can use to report non-emergency issues like street, lighting, or other maintenance requests, and pinpoint exact locations using the GPS features. And also, please continue to slow down on our streets. I hope to see many of our Ward 6 residents tomorrow at our town hall at the Sky Canyon Center from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. We'll be reviewing what we've been working on during our first 150 days. We'll also be bringing City Hall to Ward 6 by having representatives from our various city departments there to answer any questions and have them also share the great projects that we have planned for Ward 6. Join us on July 1st at Floydland Park to help kick off Parks and Recreation Month. We will be offering free entry to all park patrons that head to Floydland Park as we celebrate parks, recreation, and cultural affairs in our beautiful community. My colleague, Councilwoman Frances Allen Polensky, has mentioned the next slide, so next. We want to let our neighbors know that our monthly Bocaditos with Bruni is taking the month of July off. That said, our team is still around, so please reach out if you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns. Don't be a stranger. The Centennial Hills Active Adult Center is hosting a lecture series every third Tuesday of the month. July's lecture will be on July 18th, covering the Southern Nevada Senior Law Program. This series is free, but space is limited, so please sign up in advance. You can reach out to the Centennial Hills Active Adult Center at 6601 North Buffalo or call 702-229-1702. Mark your calendars for Friday, July 28th for our Ward 6 Splash Back to School Party and School Supply Drive. We'll be at the Centennial Hills Community and YMCA Pool, offering free swimming, free music, cold snow cones, activities, and more. The splashback will be held just 2 weeks before the CCSD school year starts back up. So please support our school supply drive that will go, we'll give any collected school supplies to 3 organizations: Foster Kinship, the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth, and Child Haven, so that our kiddos can go back to school prepared and ready to learn. Next, I'll skip the next slide since Councilman Diaz has already mentioned the Firefighter Explorers recruitment efforts. Next, if you've ever wondered what it's like to be a law enforcement officer or wanted to be more engaged in public safety, the city's Department of Public Safety Citizens Police Academy is just for you. Sign up today by scanning the QR code or contact Sergeant Marcus Diaz at 702-229-6343. And finally, please connect with us. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can call us at 229-5463 or email us at ward6@lasvegasnevada.gov. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just on behalf of council and the entire city, I want to thank our excellent staff who keeps us all running, very especially our public safety, our marshals, our public information office, and surely our clerks and everyone who keeps us running. What a wonderful celebration we had with our championship Vegas Golden Knights. The way this entire community conducted itself in the celebration, where there were, I'm sure, in the parade more than 100,000 attendees, and right there at T-Mobile we had close to 20,000. But to know that we had done that with such respect for what was accomplished in a team just 6 years old, it's quite remarkable. But the best part of it is you and us, the people who call this home, were residents, and to show the world how you celebrate, have a good time, and express pride. Way to go. Our next city council meeting is July 19th. There's only one meeting in July, and so certainly have a safe 4th. I know too many people who have been wounded by explosives they either handle or at a party where somebody's not paying attention. Certainly watch the drivers on our streets and just be safe, be caring, and thank you all. We appreciate it. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Have a great day.